guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie. I do tarot readings, astrology stuff, and other videos. But today I wanted to do another tarot reading for you guys, and the big question of the day is, who are you? A little bit of an ambiguous question, but I think it might be a fun reading, so let's go ahead and get into it. Go ahead and pause the video to find out which pile you feel most drawn to, and then we can get started. Here we have the Aquarian Tarot, the Rider-Waite Tarot, the Halloween Tarot, and the Mermaid Tarot. So yeah, go ahead and pause the video, pick your pile, and let's get started. Hi there, Pile 1. How are you doing today? Hopefully good. If you chose the Aquarian Tarot, this is your tarot reading. If not, go ahead and check the other piles. Try to see if another one you might feel drawn to. If not, there might not be any messages today, but if this is your pile, welcome to your reading on who are you. Now, I already know that my camera is going to cut out at some point, but because this is definitely going to be a longer reading, but basically what I want to do for this reading is I want to do like an energy check, pretty much get a sense of like every aspect of yourself, and then I'm going to go ahead and get into the tarot. The tarot is going to be really short. It's only going to be like 3 cards, and just to get like what's shifting in your energy, so that might help like figure out where you need to go based on who you are. And then I'm going to pull some advice. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So, who is pile 1? Who is pile 1? Okay, we have the dragon. Pile 1. The lion. Wait. Move my shit out of the way. Try to center it a little bit more. Okay. Who is pile 1? We have the phoenix and the peacock. Okay, cool. So, already, who are you, pile 1? Clearly you are somebody with tremendous spiritual, emotional strength, because we have 2 spirit cards here indicating sorry, just a strong resilience and power from you. And then we have the lion and the peacock. 2 very different animals, but let's go ahead and start with this dragon card right here. So I feel like with this dragon card here, it really shows, sorry, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I need everything to be perfect. So with this dragon card here, I feel like you are someone with a lot of pain, or at the very least have seen and known what real pain feels like. You are somebody who I feel like didn't really have the best upbringing. I kind of see someone with like someone who needed to learn how to like get a tough exterior really fast. I feel like the things that you learned growing up, you really like didn't get a chance to be a kid in a way, which I feel for you. But yeah, and I see like your inner self sorry, your inner self is very, like, I wouldn't say closed off, but like stoic. Like, I feel like you're the kind of person that really believes in just accepting what's happened and moving forward, because we also have this Phoenix card here, and the Phoenix is kind of, you know, it's the bird that rises from the ashes. It has a rebirth. So I feel like you definitely kind of have that attitude, like, you, and also that, like, inner knowledge that whatever happens, you can come back from. You can have a transformation. You can grow from it. You can change, you know? But yeah, with this dragon card, I see, like, this stoic energy. Like, you feel like you always have to kind of just live and let go. Live and let die, that's what I meant. I think part of it is because growing up, you probably realize very quickly, like, with circumstances around you, with your surroundings around you, that everything is temporary, and when you thought that, like, you had something forever, or like something was gonna last forever, things changed, and whatever was going on was temporary. And, like, I feel like that can be said in both scenarios, like good and bad scenarios, and that kind of made you realize that, like, there's no point in really reacting to anything, because everything is temporary, and there's always something new coming up. There's always transformation and change taking place. Like, that's the only constant in life. And so you are the kind of person who doesn't really take things personally, and you I don't know, very wise in a sense, like very mature in that way of knowing that not everything's gonna last forever, and it's okay to, like, walk away when you need to, because you're just gonna bounce back. Right. I also want to say, like, with this dragon card here, well, with the dragon and the Phoenix card, I think you have, like, incredible psychic abilities. I think you could be, like, oh my god, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like, either an empath or, like, a starseed. I kind of feel starseed more with, like, the dragon here, and the Phoenix, like, kind of being reborn again. But mostly with the dragon, I see, like, a starseed. I see maybe also somebody who felt very different growing up, maybe because of this. And then I think with this Phoenix card, I think it indicates that you've been, like, reborn into the earth many, many times. Very, very old soul. But, yeah. So I want to talk a little bit more about this Phoenix. I think I'm done for now with the dragon. I want to talk about this Phoenix card. So I feel like when it comes to tough situations, and I guess I, like, kind of already said this, but you are extremely resilient. Like, not only do you have this attitude of, like, well, whatever happens, happens, and I'm not gonna let it get to me, because nothing is temporary. I feel like also when things do get you, because of course you're still a human being, like, of course things are gonna happen, but when they do, it's very easy for you to see what went wrong and to learn from your mistakes. I think you are a very perceptive person. You are incredibly intuitive, and I think you have, I think you have like this inner knowing at all times that like what is the right way to look about things. I think, like I said, you're very intuitive, you're very perceptive. I think also because of your past, because of your childhood, growing up and seeing so many different things and like seeing how they turned out, I think you are very cautious of like taking the right path. I don't necessarily feel like this like pressure to make the right choice or to take the right path, but I see somebody who like wants to do the right thing more so than like getting it right, like making the right choice. It's somebody who wants to do the right thing. And when it comes to your own personal issues, I think you might have a hard time with realizing how resilient you are. I think it's very easy for you to kind of downplay your achievements in life, and it doesn't really matter if like you have a ton of money or if you like went to a really good school or something, you're really smart and do all these whatevers. But like, I think, in your case, because I have no idea if like how much money you have and whether or not that you've like done a bunch of cool shit, honestly, but like in terms of like how society sees cool shit, like, oh my god, they won a Nobel Prize and like all blah 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 blah, like those kinds of things. You're just a CEO of your own company, like it doesn't matter. You have in your spiritual journey, you have accomplished more than most people, which is why I kind of get the feeling that like maybe you're a starseed or something, or like you're a healer. You have a lot of magic and power in you, and it's very evident to me that you have come so far on your journey already, like coming in with all this wisdom and soul experience, that you're like over here in the spiritual journey, and everybody else is like back here. But because everybody else is back here and you're way over here, they kind of look at you and they're like, what the heck are they doing? Like, why are they so far ahead? Like, are they cheating? Are they like, do they have special powers or something? And I think also like people kind of go like, well, then obviously they're not doing it right if everybody else is over here and they're way over here. So I feel like you may know people in your life or have met people in your life who kind of like minimize your wisdom and emotional intellect. I think a lot of people are way too immature for you. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I think a lot of people are way too immature for you, and they don't realize how wise you are. How clearly you really see things. And people don't understand that. People don't understand where you're coming from. But so because of that reason, I feel like when it comes to your own, like, I just said it. When it comes to your own accomplishments, your own, like, spiritual journey, I feel like you struggle really, really hard to identify and recognize your own achievements and how much farther ahead you are than everybody else. Because, it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen The Point. And there's like a million movies like this out there, and especially like kids movies. But the point was this little animation movie in the like 60s or 70s. My grandma made me watch it. And it's this little boy, and he lives in a town where everybody has points. They have pointy heads. All their buildings are pointy. Even his dog, his name is Arrow, and he looks like a little arrow. He's very pointy. But this little boy, he's the only one in the town that doesn't have a pointy head, and he has a round head, and he has to wear this hat to make it seem like he is fitting in, but everybody obviously knows that he doesn't have a pointy head because he's wearing this hat, and like, but anyway, so something happens. I can't remember exactly what happens, but they kick him out of town basically because he's different. Like, basically because he doesn't have a point. And throughout his own journey, he kind of realizes that, like, you know what? I may not have a pointy head, but I love my round head. And actually, what's really funny is that there's 2 circles here, two triangles here with the point. So we'll get into that. But, like, anyway, so yeah, through his self-discovery, through his own journey, he realizes that, I love myself the way that I am. I don't care that I don't have a pointy head like everybody else. I'm just as cool, I have love of myself and, like, my friends that he makes along the way. And my dog, Arrow, who's super cute. And so then he returns back to the town. I'm so sorry. I wish I could remember this, like, exactly the way that it went. But he returns back to town. And he kind of, like, gives this speech of, like, I don't care that I don't have a pointy head, because just because I don't have a pointy head doesn't mean I can do this, this, and this, and I can do all these things. My friends love me. My dog loves me. And they kind of realize that even though he's not like everyone else, he still has a purpose in life, and he still gives meaning to the, I don't know if they were human, but, like, the metaphorical human experience, so shall I say. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of like the attitude that you need to take on, is like, I may be way over here and everybody else is over here, and they don't really understand that, but I know who I am. And I know what I need to do, because you do, like, you are very wise and intuitive, and you know exactly what you need to do to handle life situations. And I think you have a fairly good attitude about everything. Like, you realize that not everything is temporary, and whatever does happen, if damage is done, you can bounce back from it. I swear to God, there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. Yeah. Oh, I remember. I'm sorry. That's another thing I wanted to add about this reading. I feel like a lot of people might come to this reading being like, well, tell me who I am. With you, if you are looking for that answer of, like, tell me who I am, like, I don't really know what I'm doing, and I need answers as to what I should do to, like, figure out who I am. First of all, no one can tell you who you are. You have to figure that out for yourself. And, like, go on your own spiritual journey to figure that out. But secondly, I want to say, you don't have that problem. Like, I mean, I'm not going to speak for everybody, because I feel like some of you may have come to this reading thinking that I was going to tell you everything about you. Like, you know, what's your sign? What's your life's purpose? You know, I'm not here to necessarily do that. Like I said at the beginning of this, my main intention of this is to just kind of see who you are right now, because I feel like self is constantly evolving. And so there is no real, like, me, you know? That's all ego. That's all image and identity. Like, there's no such thing as, there's no such thing as self, you know? And the whole point of, like, spirituality is to dissolve the ego, you know? That if you're ever interested in, like, learning more about spirituality, read up on Pisces and Neptune, because that's that. Oh, and also the 12th house. That's going to tell you more about what spirituality is really about than anything else. More than, like, those manifesting videos on, like, TikTok and Instagram and, like, you know, cards. But in long story short, Pisces is all about dissolving the ego, becoming one with the universe. So there is no such thing as self. There's no such thing as who am I. You are an extension of the universe, and the universe is an extension of you. It's all interconnected. You know, it's all connected. It's all coming together. Oh god, I feel like I, like, went way off track there, but I think that needed to be said. That, like, came through really strongly. So anyway, so if you were struggling with, like, this whole idea, if you're new to, like, spirituality and this is your, like, first tarot reading ever, and you've been struggling with the concept of, like, well, what am I supposed to be learning? What am I supposed to be doing? You know, and just trying to get answers. You have the answers inside you. You have everything you need to know already inside you, based on experiences, intuition, feelings, you know, everything you need to know. Yeah, came through really strongly. I don't know what that was about. Thank you, universe. Yeah. But now that I've gone on that long tangent, I've, like, lost where I was at with this. I was trying to make this short, running out of time, but, anyway, yeah, I feel like it's not that you have a problem knowing who you are. I think specifically for this pile, you have a pretty good idea. It's just recognizing the accomplishments you've made thus far, and, like, using who you are to like, self-validate your accomplishments. I don't know if that made sense. Hopefully it did. But anyway, let's jump to this lion. So this lion here, this is supposed to represent you in the future. I feel like, actually, you know what, hold on, sorry. Anyway, talking about this lion and how it represents your future self. I see, you know, with the lion here, lions are usually known for, like, being courageous and, like, wow, that really fucked me up. Having to pause the video. Known for being, like, courageous, brave, like, a lot of heart, very compassionate people. What I see for you moving forward is really taking ownership of how different you are from other people, and maybe not even that, like, just taking ownership for who you are as a person and not apologizing for being farther ahead than other people just because you are so far ahead that other people get, like, jealous of you and they're too immature to see how wise you are. I also seeing you like taking more confidence in acknowledging your achievements in life. Like I was saying, like, I mean, you could totally have a ton of money. Like, you could be very successful in, like, a material... Oh my god, that sounded really bad. That's not what I wanted to say. In, like, a physical sense. But I think, more importantly, you're extremely successful in a spiritual sense. You have grown so much from everything that has happened to you in this life and in the past lives. You've been here before. I think you're starting to recognize yourself that you have come so far from the beginning, and you are starting to like stand up for yourself in a lot of ways. This is also the symbol for fire. You know, with lion, obviously there could be some very strong Leo placements, which I do want to say something about Leo, but other placements, other fire placements are Aries and Sagittarius. I think it's interesting that we have the lion here and that, like, Leo is the lion. I also want to say, like, I think especially with the dragon and the phoenix card together, or, like, just these two in general, kind of give me, like, Scorpio vibes a little bit, because Scorpios are kind of known for being cold and detached, and then the phoenix actually is one of the animals for Scorpio. There's like, well, it's like a phoenix slash eagle, but there's like 3/4 different animals for Scorpio, and that would be the scorpion, the snake or the lizard, and the eagle or the phoenix. So I guess that's 5, but so there might be some Scorpio energy as well. But what's interesting about this lion card coming up and why I'm seeing Leo specifically is because Leos have, like, I guess unevolved Leos have a very hard time separating their ego from their self, if that makes sense. Like, oh, that doesn't really make sense. Like, here, let me explain. Leos, I guess that's more of like they have a hard time separating their ego from, like, yeah, from themselves. That is what I meant to say. An unevolved Leo can be desperate for attention, for recognition, for fame and glory and friends, I guess. And it's all due to a lack of what's the word? A lack of self, I guess. You know, they don't approve of themselves, so they seek approval from others. But the thing is about an evolved Leo is that they've learned to love themselves for who they are, and they've learned to love all their faults and all their accomplishments, and they realize that they don't need the approval of others to shine their light, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I think, you know, it's interesting because, as I was already talking about with, like, this phoenix here, you have a really hard time acknowledging your accomplishments in life because you feel so different from other people. And it's exactly like I was talking about with the point. It's like, he wore that hat because he felt like he needed to fit in. He needed other people to approve of him. But then by the end of it, through his spiritual journey, through his self-discovery, he learned that he doesn't have to be like everybody else. He's perfectly happy being who he is, this round head. He doesn't have to be a point. But so as far as, like, you know, if this was your future self talking to your past self, now it's saying, like, don't be afraid to be who you are, you know? You've come so far, and you don't need to be ashamed of your light. It's a light for a reason. It's there to inspire and encourage. I mean, that's also fire. Fire is supposed to inspire and encourage and support the self. You know, so if your future self was to say anything, I feel like it would say, you know, don't dim your light for other people. I recognize and acknowledge that you have done so well so far, and you don't need to beat yourself up for being so different from everybody else, because there is a purpose in that, and you will find yourself through being different than everybody else. Sorry, that was a lot for me. This is just a really sweet message, I think. You know, everybody kind of needs to hear that every once in a while. But you especially, I think, because, like, I feel like there might also be some times where you don't listen to your intuition as well, because you're afraid that people are going to think that you're crazy, or other people are going to think, like, you're dumb or something, and so you might not listen to that and just kind of, like, go with what everybody else says, and then something happens, you're like, well, I should have just listened to my intuition. Yes, exactly. If you have a really strong feeling about something, and people are, like, saying the opposite of that, like, to do the opposite of it, don't listen. Trust yourself. Like, you know, everybody knows, you know, like, what they need to do, who they are, where they're going. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody discourage you. Be this lion here, you know? And I think you're getting there. You're starting to feel more comfortable with yourself, you know? And you're starting to kind of take on the heart of a lion. I feel like also what I want to say with this lion card here is because you are learning to have more compassion for yourself. You're learning to have more compassion for others as well. I mean, I feel like you're a pretty understanding person already, but you're learning to, like, actually learn how to comfort other people with their pain, rather than, like, just be like, oh yeah, I know how that feels, and, like, not really doing anything about it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say about the lion. Try to move this along a little bit. So with this peacock represents your higher self. I don't know what else to say. I think it kind of speaks for yourself. Like, your highest, most authentic self is gorgeous. It's a very, very pretty peacock. No, but I also think, like, you know, I every time I see a peacock and I see these little feathers, I think back to that, like, Greek mythology, like, about the peacock, and, like, how it was like Hera's like messenger boy, basically, but he was a monster with, like, all these different eyes, and oh god, I hope I can remember enough of this to tell you, like, a cohesive story and, like, get to the point. Sorry. So he had all these eyes. That's why, like, you know, when you look at peacock feathers, it looks like they have eyes on them. You know, and they kind of have intense eyes themselves. But anyway, so he there was this whole thing where, or maybe it wasn't Greek, it was Roman. I'm so sorry. Bear with me, please. Yeah, because it was Jupiter and Juno, I believe, is like the Roman equivalent of Zeus and Hera, because anyway, so they were having like a marital spat because he was cheating. He was chasing one of these water nymphs around and like trying to sleep with her, and she's like, no. And Juno got really jealous and was like, what the fuck are you doing? So she sent out her messenger, and I can't remember his name right now, but she sent out his messenger, and he was supposed to tell, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm not bored, I promise. He was supposed to tell Jupiter that if he didn't stop, that Juno was gonna turn him into a cow. And of course, he was like, yeah, I'd like to see you try. And so she did. She turned him into a cow. And so then he was just, you know what, this isn't sounding right. Point of my story, like, forget the whole thing. My point is I feel like your highest, most authentic self is a messenger of light. That's I should have just fucking said that. I'm so sorry for wasting your time with that long story. I you know, and it's kind of these two, you know, what I was saying with these two before, like maybe how you were a star seed or an empath or something. I think more accurately it is that you are a messenger of light. I think your highest purpose, or at the very least, like when you are embracing your most authentic self, you are a inspiration of you're an inspiration. I mean, what else is there to say? I think you know, we have air energy here, so that's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And if you think about all of those signs, they're all about communication. Air is about communication. It's about sharing ideas and I'm sorry, you guys have like really strong energy, and I'm kind of like whew, a little bit taken aback from you guys, which is a good reason not to like feel down about yourself. You know, you have such a bright light. You have such a strong energy, and it's even like inspiring me, you know, like I have all these fucking ideas and like this passion, and just getting all these messages from the universe. I think that's what you bring to the table. Like, I think that's kind of your effect on people, is you kind of make them realize things that they wouldn't on their own, like, you know, inspiring ideas in them and inspiring compassion and pushing a deeper connection to the universe. I think that's kind of what you leave behind in your presence. But yeah, I really think you are a messenger of light. I think I mean, you do what you want, but, and this can be like in any sort of way, you know, you don't have to go around and start being like, you know, Like, you don't have to become like a spiritualist or like join a religious cause or anything like that, and to spread the universe's love and light. You do whatever you want, but I do think a big part of who you are is how you inspire people to not only like find deeper connections to themselves and their spirituality, whatever that may be. I think you inspire like positive energy. I think when people walk away from you, when those that are willing to listen really come to know, come to really embrace their own light, because they see that you've accomplished so much and people respect you for how sure of yourself, I guess, is the way I'm gonna say it. But yeah, you just have really beautiful energy. Honestly. Honest to God. And I've had so much fun just reading you. I feel like if this is your first tarot reading, I think the universe has been trying to reach out, or not your first reading, but like, you know, this is like a new thing to you. Like tarot and spirituality, whatever you want to call it, is a new thing to you. I think the universe has been trying to reach out to you for so long, and they are just so happy that you are finally like listening, and you're like, okay, I'm willing to listen, like, what's up, what's going on. They're just so happy to have you receive, and I think, you know, that's why like all this stuff is like pouring through right now, is because they've had so much they've wanted to say to you. There's so much that the universe has been trying to communicate with you about, and they are kind of really proud that you are finally opening up to it. Because, like I said, I think like your higher self, one of your higher purposes is to spread your wisdom, but also your light, and to teach people to embrace who they are and, you know, not dim their own light. But that is all I have for this so far. So I wanted to look and see like what else was shifting, just to kind of get like an idea of where you're going. So I'm gonna try to move this up here. Can you still see it? Yes. Okay. Alright. Put her there. Okay. And now we're gonna go ahead and see what is shifting in pile one's energy. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not gonna ask that question. The question I really want to ask is, this is what it's like when you've been reading for so long that you just forget what you were doing. I wanted to ask, not like what's shifting in your energy, but who are you becoming? That's what I wanted to ask. So so who is pile one becoming? Who's pile one becoming? Oh my god, okay. I'm not gonna take this one, so I'm gonna take this one. Okay. Who's pile one becoming? Oh, sorry. Okay, so we have the moon. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Justice. And one more, I guess. Who is pile one becoming? The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Sorry, you guys take a lot out of me. Your energy is so intense. Okay, we also have 3 fucking major arcanas too, so that just, like, solidifies it more. Okay, so who are you becoming? Honestly, I think... Well, okay, so first of all, let's start with this moon. I feel like you're learning to kind of get rid of what doesn't serve you. I think as you become more aware of who you are and more okay with who you are, more accepting of who you are, you're kind of like getting rid of everything else that doesn't serve you, you know, beliefs that you needed to fit in with other people, beliefs that you needed to dim your light because you needed to let other people catch up to you because it wasn't fair, that you needed, that you couldn't, like, get over things because obviously, as time has shown, you can. You are very capable. You are very wise and mature, and you can do anything you want, basically. You know, you are a strong, independent woman. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman in this, but you are a strong, independent woman. Anyway, I feel like that's kind of what you're learning. You're learning to kind of let go. Also to let go of, like, any illusions that you had about yourself or the universe or other people. I feel like you're letting go of that. This Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I think if there's, like, some sort of business that you want to start, I think now is not the best time. I feel like maybe, like, I guess another thing I want to say with this, like, because we have these 2 spiritual cards, maybe people have, like, said that, like, your head was in the clouds or something like that, and you needed to focus more on, like... Actually, wait, no, I take that back. Sorry. Scratch that. That's not what I wanted to say. I think this Ten of Pentacles is about the fact that people have probably looked at you and thought that you have zero ambition, which is completely not true. And I think you know that. I know that. But I think because you are in such a spiritual mission, people look at you and they think that you don't have any ambition in life, that you're not taking it seriously, and that you are just kind of like a drifter or something like that. And that is not at all what's going on. I see, you know, especially with such powerful energy coming up, you are meant for great things, whether that be material wealth, physical comforts, fame and recognition, notoriety, all of it, whether or not that happens or not, you are meant for great things. You know, I think that all of those things could very well be a part of your journey if you so choose. But I think right now with this Ten of Pentacles in reverse, the reason why it's in reverse is because I think you have heard for so long that you don't have any ambition, that you're not taking like practical things seriously, that you feel like you need to like get to this Ten of Pentacles and have it all, you know, fame and notoriety, wealth, all of that. But the universe isn't letting you really get there right now because you're focusing too hard on what other people think of you and how other people view you. Or at least you have in the past, you know, maybe with this lion, like I said, you're kind of like coming into yourself and you're kind of like realizing that you need to have courage in yourself. You need to believe in yourself and who you are in order to reach this higher self and be a messenger of light. So I think, you know, this is something that you need to work on. You need to not worry so much about where you're going to be in 10 years financially or practically or whatever, you know. I think also maybe like another part of it is that like people have told you that like you need to settle down, like you need to be in a relationship or something, and like fuck that. Don't listen to them. You know, everybody's on their own journey. That's why it's called a self journey. You know, they're by themselves going about life, you know. Like, I mean, we're not alone in life. I don't believe that, but you know, it's unique. It's individual to each person. So if you're worrying about like what other people are saying about like your relationships, your jobs, fuck that. Don't even pay attention, because it's seriously not worth your time. You need to believe in yourself, because when you believe in yourself, you are able to inspire, you are able to succeed in places that you never thought you could, and you will start to realize that you have all the answers that you have ever wanted. And it doesn't, what everybody else says about you and what they think, oh, this is how life really works, doesn't matter, because everybody has to figure it out for themselves, you know? Like, figure out their perspective on everything. So anyway, yeah, I feel like that's something you need to work on. I think you need to work on not focusing so much on material things right now, because it's just not important to your journey. And with this Justice card, I feel like you're kind of getting justice for yourself. You are, like I said, really coming into your own. I think you are starting to not only like I am so mad. My camera keeps cutting out. I really, really need to fix the setting so that it doesn't keep cutting out. Anyway, I was in the middle of this talking about like how you're finding justice for yourself. You're kind of like reconciling the feelings of like inadequacy in you, and like not really recognizing your own achievements, and really having compassion for yourself. Also, I wanted to mention, okay, let me just real quick, the story of like my camera cutting out. Every single time I'm recording, I'm checking the camera every like 5 seconds to make sure that it doesn't go out. And then as soon as I stop looking, which is what happens every freaking time, it cuts out. So I literally like read this whole thing and like had this big fucking spiel, and so I'm trying to remember everything that I said, because it kind of just comes through. I don't remember exactly what I said, and, you know, I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna repeat word for word what I said, because nobody does that. But anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to piece everything back together. I'm so sorry that my camera keeps cutting out. I feel so bad for you guys watching, for anyone watching who is like, what the fuck, and it's just like randomly like skipped to another part. I'm so sorry. Anyway, also with the Justice, you know, it represents Libra as well, or Libra is associated with this card. And so we have here the higher self is represented by air, so you might have strong, especially Libra places because it's Justice. You might have especially strong Libra placements, leading you to feel like you kind of have a responsibility in finding justice for yourself and for others, which is very noble. What's the word? I respect that a lot. But also just air signs in general, you know, I think like personally I have a lot of Libra in me, and I've found, and like my dad's an Aquarius, I have a lot of air signs around me. I found that like the purpose of us are of like feeling the need to communicate ideas is to really like find equality and find balance in life, and really like, I don't know, I feel like it just kind of validates that feeling of like responsibility to other people. I mean, especially with Libra, because they're all about other people, but that responsibility to fight for the underdog, kind of. And I feel like maybe you can really relate to that because, as I was talking about before, you may have felt really different from other people and always kind of wanted, like, you know, like the little guy to win. But anyway, yeah, I feel like you're really finding, and also like peace and harmony within yourself as well, you know. With justice comes peace, and, you know, Libra is all about peace and harmony as well, so, yeah. And then so moving on to this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, I feel like this Wheel of Fortune in reverse is talking about terms of timing, and I feel like, you know, usually the Wheel of Fortune kind of like signifies like it's kind of up to fate, you know, whenever it happens, but here, because it's in reverse, I think it's saying that like the time to act, the time to like put all of this into motion is now. And now is literally whenever you choose it to be. It's the present. It is this moment right now. And like, I don't know, you might be thinking like, but does that mean I have to go like sit and meditate like right now? Or like, no, not really. You know, you don't have to like sit down and meditate to like reflect and start self-actualizing. You can do it while you're doing the dishes. For all anyone cares. There's no right or wrong way to like start like actively trying to be more compassionate towards yourself. You know, it doesn't matter. It's just now. It's the present. It's the time we are currently perceiving the world, you know? It's all of that stuff, you know? So yeah, the universe is kind of saying like, you know, if you've felt like, well, I really want to start doing this, especially because it's the new year. If you're watching this the time that it came out, you know, January of 2023, this is a timeless reading, so you can watch it whenever, but, you know, if you're watching this at the time that it came out, you might be feeling like, oh, it's New Year's, you know, it's new year, new me, like, I gotta start doing this throughout the year, but like, I don't know about you, but every freaking New Year, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but like, I don't start it until like April, any of that stuff. So you don't, if you've been feeling like you need to start it like right now, but like you don't have the energy to do it, you don't have to do it right this second. And then in reverse, like, it doesn't have to be something that you plan out. Your journey starts whenever you realize that you are on a spiritual journey. I'll say that. You can interpret that however you want. But that's kind of just what I heard. So, yeah, you can start whenever. Whenever you feel like now is. But, yeah, that's all I have for this. One last thing, I want to get some advice to just kind of see, like, kind of what do you really need to hear right now. So I'm going to try to line this up so it's a little bit more symmetrical looking, and I can... I'm sorry. I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting a little tired of your guys' energy. Not in a bad way, it's just you guys are like really, really intense. You honestly probably get that a lot, with like I said, I kind of feel that Scorpio energy. And even Leo, or like if you, they're like that fiery energy can be a lot too. But oh, that looks terrible. Okay, so let's get some advice. Okay, so Spirit, what advice do you have for pile 1? What advice do you have for pile 1? What advice do you have for pile 1? Okay, so we have Gaia, abundance. Can't say that. Sacrifice. And then one more, please. What advice do you have for pile 1? What advice do you have for pile 1? And we have Hebe. I'm so sorry. Somebody please tell me how to pronounce that. I think it's Hebe. Spiritual sustenance. Okay. So let's start with Gaia and abundance. I feel like with this card, the universe is really telling you, like... Oh, actually, you know what? Okay, hold on. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know why that, like, overtook me, but I was like, this needs to look nice. Gaia, abundance. Please forgive me for my insanity. I feel like with this card, the universe is really saying that, like, you, like what I was saying before, like, you have all the answers you will ever need within you as long as you choose to look within. With Gaia, it's like Mother Earth. It's, she has everything that she needs to, like, make something regarding to the earth. You have all the abundance you could ever dream of inside you. You just have to look for it. You know, and that kind of goes along with like everything else of like letting go of what doesn't serve you and having compassion for yourself and not worrying about what other people think of those two cards, and really really recognizing your accomplishments, you know. You have it all within you. You don't need the external validation. You have all the love inside you that you could ever want. And I think the universe is just trying to remind you that that's there, or, you know, trying to communicate with that with you. Also, I feel like going into nature and like trying to reconnect with nature might give you clarity as to what you need to do in order to like gain abundance, like material abundance. Excuse me. With sacrifice here, I feel like the universe is trying to say that like you don't need to sacrifice yourself to make other people happy. What is that? Sorry. You don't need to sacrifice yourself to make other people happy. If anything, the sacrifices that you should be making is like you should be making a sacrifice to yourself in the sense of like you know, like giving up things that don't serve you. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, even if it's hard, like even if they're like really strong beliefs that you used to have but you are now realizing don't really serve you, you know, giving that up and moving forward is going to help you find this abundance, to find yourself, to be your highest self, your most authentic self. That's the kind of sacrifice that's going to guide you in the right direction. And then finally, I know it's been a very long reading, and then finally we have spiritual sustenance. I feel like with this card, the universe is trying to say, like, one, you are an extremely spiritual person. You have 2 spiritual cards here and 3 major arcana over here. So you have it in you. I think it's also just like it's reminding you to be your own source of spiritual sustenance, you know? To, again, like, look within. You have all the answers right in front of you. All you need to do is have compassion for yourself, learn to accept yourself, and acknowledge the accomplishments that you've made, this spiritual growth that you've made. And you will find love and abundance, and you will find oh god, sorry, I just had it. You'll find love and abundance, and you'll find your purpose, and you'll inspire yourself in how to inspire other people and how to have compassion for other people, to seek justice for other people. yeah. I guess like one last thing with this spiritual sustenance card. Don't be afraid to like ask the universe for help. You know, it's okay to say like, you know, I'm struggling, I don't know what to do, I need help, somebody help me please. Nothing wrong with that at all. You know, everybody needs help every once in a while. We can't all do it ourselves. And so, yeah. Yeah, anyway, I think I'm gonna leave this reading here because I honestly don't know what else I can say. I think I have said everything that has ever needed to be said. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did, it means a lot to me. And more content to come. Yeah, and I hope you really liked this reading. I hope you got something out of it. I hoped I could help you further your spiritual journey and help you get some answers that were not clear before. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading of Who Are You? Now, just a little bit of a disclaimer, because I don't think I really mentioned it in the intro, but personally, I feel like, you know, if you're coming here for a reading expecting me to, like, be like, oh, you're Susie so-and-so, and you're a Capricorn, and you like this and that, and you're really good at that, and you're gonna be famous. Sorry to disappoint you, but that's not really what I wanted this reading to be about. Personally, I don't really believe that any one person can tell you who you are, you know, like, even in astrology, like, yes, it's like a kind of like gives you a broad idea of who you are, like even when you go into detail about the chart and everything, but you know, who you choose to be and who you want to be is completely up to you. Who you think you are is completely up to you, and no one else can define that. So sorry to disappoint you if that's what you were expecting of this reading. Like I said, really, I want this reading to be just, like, to find a better understanding of who you are, like, in this moment, and kind of, like, where you're heading a little bit, you know? And then some advice. But, yeah, so basically what I'm going to do in this reading, I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. It's already a pretty long reading as it is, because I'm going to start with, like, an energy check, basically. That's going to be the majority of the reading, and then I'm going to go ahead and get into tarot to find out what's shifting, and then we're going to pull some advice cards. So yeah, let's get into it. And sorry in advance if my camera cuts out and I have to like I'm like blah 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 blah, and then all of a sudden it switches to like, hey guys, sorry in advance. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's just jump into it, you know? Jump in. That movie was amazing. With Corbin Blue. Okay. So, let's go ahead and get that energy check. So, pile 2. Who are you? Okay. Who is pile 2? Spirit, can you tell me who pile 2 is? Okay, I'm gonna take that one too. Oh, cool, we have all 4 cards. Okay, so to start, we have the beaver. We have the lamb. I'll make sure this is even. There we go. I should have forgot which one. I feel like this one. Actually, I feel like that one is up here. The unicorn and the nightingale. Is that even? I don't know, it looks crooked to me, but I can't really tell anymore. Okay. Alright, so pile 2. Who are you? So mysterious. So to start, let's start with this beaver. Honestly, the vibe that I'm getting is possibly like someone who is very shy with a lot of people, like especially growing up, you might have been like more introverted, quiet, like people kind of had to approach you. But once they did, I feel like when you got into a more intimate setting, people kind of realized like how funny you are. Like, I don't know. I feel like looking at this beaver, he's got this like cute little smile on his face, and he's just like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he's a funny guy. Getting that from a beaver, but like, yeah. So yeah, I feel like, when you were younger, you were kind of shy because, we have this earth energy. Earth energy is usually more quiet, reserved, but you have this like really great sense of humor, and I feel like that comes from like a, how do I say it? Like a good sense of home. Like, you could have had a rough childhood, but like for the most part, I'm getting the feeling that you had like a pretty decent childhood. Like, of course everybody has their stuff that they deal with, but I feel like I don't know, I'm just getting the sense that you have a really strong connection to home and like how you grew up and the people that you grew up with. Like, maybe you had like, I'm thinking beavers, like maybe you had a really large family, and like family gatherings were always like a really big thing, and you always had a really good time. Like, everybody's always laughing, everybody's like joking around, drinking, like, like the big giant family gatherings that people have, and like you see your cousins that you haven't seen in like a year, and like you're just like, oh, you want to go play DS with me? And like, that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm just getting like really happy childhood memories, and I feel like, like personality wise, like you're quiet, but you're pretty happy with like where you came from, and oh god, I lost my train of thought, sorry. I'm gonna do that a lot today. I've been a little tired this week, but anyway, yeah, I'm just getting like really happy vibes, and like I feel like you have a really strong inner child because you have such good memories with your home life, and like even like elementary school, I feel like you were like a very competitive player in like PE or something, because you just really like to play games. Like that's the kind of personality I'm seeing. Like you really like to play around and have a good time and like laugh with your loved ones. Like, just good energy, I mean, overall I think it's like really good energy here, but yeah, just seeing like a really healthy inner child with this beaver card. So let's move on to this nightingale here. As far as like sorry. I'm so sorry I'm losing my train of thought literally all the time. Oh wait, this is water, not earth. I'm so sorry. I just realized, I was like, wait, these are both earth and I don't have the same one. This is definitely earth though. So we have water. Which kind of makes sense because, like I was saying, you have a really strong tie to like your home life. Maybe you have cancer placements, or maybe like a family member has cancer placements, and they kind of like really made it important for everybody to like get together every once in a while and like have a good time and like be close again. Anyway, so this nightingale, what I was gonna say, I guess like in relation to this beaver card, like I feel like even though you had this really strong, healthy inner child and you had a pretty good, healthy upbringing, I feel like there's kind of like a bit of a sadness. I feel like, and it's not necessarily like, oh, my life sucks or anything like that, or like, you know, like, why does anybody love me, like that kind of stuff. I feel like it's not really directed at yourself, but it's more of like, well, kind of is and kind of isn't. Here's what I'll say. I feel like you think a lot about a lot of different things. Like, you're really, really smart. And there's a lot of things in the world that bother you, just about like social issues and just how the world works. Like, it's kind of interesting because like you have this like nearly childlike energy, and like not necessarily that you're naive, but like you have this childlike wonder about the world, like especially growing up, like, you know, as a child obviously, but like growing up you always had this optimistic outlook on things. Like, you really wanted to see the good in everybody. But I think as you got older, you kind of started to see the darker parts of life, and I think that made you really sad. Like, I don't want to say disappointment, although that is the word that's coming through, but like maybe it was kind of disappointing to see that there were so many like selfish and corrupt people in the world. But more than anything, I think it just like, it kind of made you lose hope a little bit. Now, like, I still, like I said, I still feel this like childlike energy, especially with the lamb here. I forgot all about that, but like, you know, like, I think with the beaver, you know, being so connected to home and your home life and having such good childhood memories is kind, and like you still carry that with you, you know. Like, I don't get the feeling that like because other things in the world makes you sad that you like completely let that consume you. I just think you may think about it from time to time and go like, God, I really wish I could like do something about what's going on in the world right now, because it just makes me so sad to see so many people unhappy, which is really sweet, actually. That's really cute. But I guess I was gonna say with this lamb, like, you still have that hope in you. Like, I think it kind of depresses you sometimes, like, thinking about all those things, and like you might get caught up in it too much and thinking like, well, I can't do anything, you know, like I can't do anything to help. But with this lamb here, like, you still have hope, and especially in the future. Like, I have no idea how old you are, but like I'm just getting the phrase like, you still have time. You still have a lot of time, plenty of time to do something that you think is going to help even just one person. I think you I'm so sorry if you can hear my chair squeaking. Yeah, you still have time to, oh, that's what I was gonna say. I have no idea how old you are, but I do get a sense like a large majority of you are a little bit on the younger side, like maybe in your 20s, or like you just turned 20 or something. Maybe even you just turned 18. Doesn't matter, but I do get this very like youthful energy from you. So, you know, maybe you're 50, but you still believe in like holding on to this like childhood. You're like, I want to do something, I want to help people. But either way, like, spirit, the universe, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, is still saying that you have time. You have time to do something. You know, you still have time to learn, and you still have time to figure something out, you know. You still have time to help. You know, you're never done growing or learning until you're dead, you know, and then even then, you know, if you believe in an afterlife or if you believe in reincarnation, you're still learning. So who knows, but either way, that needed to come through. You still have time. But yeah, let me talk about this lamb now. I feel like with this lamb card here, representing like kind of the future, I think you're on the path to realizing that no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what is happening around you, no matter how hard circumstances might be, you can choose to make it as bad as you want. I feel like, I don't know, every time I see a lamb, I just think of like Jesus. I was raised by Christians, and that's just kind of like in Catholic Church. That's just like every time I see a lamb, I just think like the blood of the Christ, you know. Whatever. Anyway, my point is, I feel like, you know, relating a lamb to Jesus, like, or like, I guess in the Bible, you know, it kind of like symbolizes this innocence, this like sacrifice that's made to like help people. So maybe like, ooh, I just had a really weird thought, but hopefully this isn't how you feel. Like as if you need to like sacrifice yourself to make everyone else happy. I hope that's not how you feel, because I don't really think that's what the universe is talking about when they're like, or like, I don't think that's what the universe has in mind, has in store for you. Oh god, I like completely lost it. Sorry. I'm struggling a little bit today because I'm very tired, but keep chugging on. Anyway, it's a lamb card. Fucking okay. Sorry. I want to say that like I don't know how else to describe it, so I'm just gonna say for now, like, keep your optimistic outlook, like, don't worry about not being able to help because you still have time, with getting this, like, like endless youthless energy, you will have a lot of time to accomplish and help people. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I feel like I'm getting confusing messages about that one, so I'm just going to skip it for now until I have a more clear idea with the tarot what's going on. Sorry, that sounded really ominous. Don't worry, you're fine, you're not going to die. I would not do this reading if I thought you were going to die, so don't worry. So anyway, moving forward to this unicorn card. This unicorn card is representing your higher self, which to me shows you have a very strong intuition and possibly even psychic powers. We have this horn here on the unicorn right over his third eye. If unicorns have chakras, which they probably do. Everybody probably has chakras, even animals, you know, let's be real. But yeah, so I'm with this unicorn card, I'm seeing possible psychic powers that you could possibly use to help people. And what's interesting about this unicorn card in particular is that this card kind of represents everything that is rare, unique, and pure. And which I find interesting because, like I said, I just was getting this like youthful, innocent, like not in the sense that like, oh, you're so innocent, you're so naive, not like that, just like pure intentions, you know, innocent in that sense, like just, so I guess not innocent, but just pure. You're very pure and wholesome. Having this unicorn as your higher self, like that is really who you are, is somebody who is rare, like somebody who is unique in the sense that they have such a strong connection to their roots and to where they came from and how they grew up and to their empathy of the world and like how optimistic they are. You are a rarity, you know, not a lot of people really like truly deeply care like you do. And I think having this unicorn card be your higher self, I think it's very important that you continue to care. Like, I don't know, I'm getting this feeling that like a lot of people may tell you that like you're too sensitive or like you care too much, when in reality they should be caring more, and it's just them that is insensitive. I feel like your highest calling is by being caring and by trying to help others and trying to take care of others and providing for your loved ones. And oh god, I was gonna say something else. I can't remember. I think also with this unicorn card here, I feel like you're kind of a leader in some sort. I don't know why I'm looking at him and he's got this horn. And like it kind of almost looks like if you kind of think about it, I don't know, if you have my brain for whatever reason, it just gives me this energy of like a knight that's in charge of an army, and he's holding up his sword like this, like that. The horn is the sword, and he's like holding it up in the air, and he's ready to charge. I feel like you're a leader in empathy. your purpose in life is to lead people into battle, I guess. Hold on. Battle being like, you know, thinking deeper about things. Oh god, that was brilliant grammar. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm so tired. I think the last reading kind of got me, but anyway, back to you. You're more important right now. That's another thing. I think, like, you know, I feel like part of it is like maybe you kind of get caught up in like different things and like jump from one thing to another, but I feel like also there might be a sense of other people kind of like taking advantage of your niceness, and so they kind of just like go like blah 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 about you, and then just like, okay, and now me. Which I'm so sorry, I don't mean to do that. Like, I'm not even gonna make excuses anymore. I'm gonna try my best to stop talking about me and focus on you. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like you're kind of a leader in sorts, like a spiritual leader in sorts of like pushing people to dig deeper about their own feelings, about their own like view of the world, and like bringing light, honestly, to more cynical people. Bringing light into where there's darkness. Like, even, you know, like with this nightingale too. You know, like everything over here is all dark, and this is you just like spewing out light from your mouth by like talking about how you feel and talking about like what you care about. And here you're standing on the world, telling the whole world, like, hey, here's what we can do. Like, I feel like also with this unicorn, like, you might get a lot of psychic downloads about the world. Like, I know this is the moon, but it could also be the world. Kind of just looking at it differently, you know? But yeah, I feel like you might get, like, you just get these feelings about things. Like, I don't know about you, but I had a feeling about coronavirus. So maybe you were one of those people too, and you were kind of like, okay, we need to be prepared for something and try not to lose our heads. And people were like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they were just like, yeah, whatever. And then it happened, and then they're like, oh, I guess we should have listened to Pile 2, but regardless, I feel like when you're not so concerned about like, I can't do anything to help, I think you help people a lot more than you think. I think just your energy of being such a light in people's lives, having so much like, I would even say peaceful, like having so much peaceful and like pure energy, like pure in the sense of like, you know, like what we're talking about, like with and like childlike almost. I feel like it makes people kind of realize how self-centered they can be, and how they can be so concerned with their own problems that they're not looking at how to help other people. Yeah, so you are quite a unique and rare person, Pile 2. And just so cute. I don't know. I just get the feeling that you're really cute and really freaking adorable, and like all your friends are jealous because they're like, wow, I wish I was as cute and adorable as Pile 2. That's just how I feel. That's what I'm feeling. But anyway, I think I do want to pick like a clarifier for this one, just because I know there's something to talk about there. I just like, I'm getting such mixed signals with it that I don't really know what it is. Maybe that's a part of it, is that like, you know, how you're gonna help, how you're gonna save the world, I guess, is a little bit unclear. Maybe you focus too much on like how you're gonna do it. I mean, I guess I already said that, where you're just like kind of paralyzed with this idea of like, I can't do anything, I don't know how to help, and like, I wish there was more that I could do. But maybe that's the problem, is when you start focusing on, okay, what can I do, it kind of stops you from doing what you're already doing, just by being a presence of light and like giving people hope. Anyway, okay. So clarifying the lamb, we have the bat. Hi there, pal two. My camera cut out. Of course, we knew that was gonna happen. It cut out right when I was about to explain why I was a little bit hesitant to talk about this lamb card. I got a very specific message. I think it was meant for a very specific person. Who knows if they will see this or not, but if they just so happen to do, I feel like I'm responsible for saying what it is. No one's dying. I would never continue a reading where I saw death. I just can't. It's how I was taught, is to, you know, if you see that, to not continue. But, you know, and then on here, I kind of have the choice, I have the option to not post it, but I did want to, anyway, sorry. I wanted to explain this, what I saw a little bit. So for this very specific person, I saw a like protest or something, some sort of protest for an activist movement, in particular about the environment. And I saw this person putting themselves in harm's way. And like I said, no one dies. I wouldn't be telling you if I saw that. But they put themselves in harm's way and get in trouble. And it doesn't really end well for them. Again, I don't see death. I wouldn't be saying anything, but I do see them getting in trouble and it kind of changing their life forever. So if you picked this pile and that sounds like you, that was the other thing. I got a message that said, whatever you're planning on doing, don't do it because it's not meant for you. So there's that too. Do with that what you will. If, like I said, if you pick this pile and that sounds like you, please be careful out there. You know, even if I'm just talking total bullshit, even if no one sees this, and to all the people that are watching, know that I love you very much, and even if I've never met you, and really stay safe out there, really be careful, please. But with that out of the way, I wanted to try to continue this reading, try to get more general messages. and not focus so much on that specific message that I got, because this is a general reading and there are other people out there. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing the tarot. And like I said with the tarot, I'm just going to ask kind of like where you're heading and like basically like who you're becoming. So Spirit, who is pile 2 becoming? Who is pile 2 becoming? Okay, we have the Magician. We have the 3 of Pentacles. Oh my god, this is totally crooked. Why didn't you guys say anything to me? Okay, sorry. Okay, this one obviously wants to come out. The High Priestess. And the Page of Pentacles. Okay. Okay, sorry, I just had to like wrap my mind around everything. Okay, so pile 2, who are you becoming? So let's start with the Magician here. I feel like you're learning to let go of feeling like you need to see results. With this Magician card, I feel like, I mean, I don't really get this from your energy over here, but like, I think, oh god, sorry, let me start over. With this Magician card, the Magician talks about like manifestation. Sometimes it can indicate like being controlling at times, trying to like control your own fate. It also can talk about like divine intervention, I guess is what you'd call it. But here in this context, I feel like the Magician is representing how you're learning to let go of results, of like, I did this and this is what I have to show for it. Because I feel like, you know, as I was talking over here, you can kind of get caught up in this idea of like, well, what can I do, you know, and like trying really hard to help people but not really knowing how, and that kind of like prevents you from actually helping people through being yourself. Excuse me. And I feel like you're kind of starting to let go of that. I think you're kind of letting go of the idea that every time you help some person that they're gonna like show a bunch of gratitude. Because if I'm being completely honest, like from what I was getting over here with this energy, I think you're meant to do a thankless job. If I'm being honest. And I think like a little bit of that maybe immaturity from like pure beliefs is that people are always going to thank you and like reward you for your good behavior. And I think you're starting to learn that a lot of times truly helping someone means that you're not going to get credit. And so you're starting to let go of like, well, when am I going to get mine? You know, that sounded really mean. Like, I don't get mean, you know, energy from you. Like, I don't get that you're like a selfish person, like, at all. But I do think there might be a part of you that wishes they could see results for ways that they help people. But I think you're kind of letting go of that. You're kind of learning that, like, okay, well, if I really want to help people, it doesn't matter if they acknowledge me as the person who helped them. It just matters that I helped them, that I was being a compassionate person and was doing the right thing. So that's that. Here with the Pentacle of, oh my god, the Three of Pentacles. I feel like you're focusing too much on, or maybe not enough. Yes. I feel like you're focusing too again, I kind of get the feeling that you're like focusing too much on like what you've done for others. With Three of Pentacles kind of talks about like charity work or like community work, but it also talks about like in reverse, people like discrediting you and stuff like that. So I feel like, you know, you've been too focused on like trying to do things for others that like people want you to do, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, like I think you're a very perceptive person, and I think you kind of like, just by being around people, can kind of tell what they need, but a lot of the times the people that you're around, they don't really know what they need, and so you'll try to help them and like really, really help them by doing something that is going to help them long term, but they don't really realize what you're doing, and so they kind of like go, what the heck, like, what are you doing, like, I didn't need that, or something, like, I needed this, and it was like, well, but I swear, like, you know, I don't know if that really makes sense, but that's kind of like what's coming through. Or it could also be that like people come to you a lot for help, and because they know you're a really like compassionate person, but they kind of take advantage of that, and like, I don't know, I'm just seeing some like shady people a little bit. That sounded so wrong. I'm so sorry. I don't think like the people around you are very shady. I think like strangers may ask for your help at times because they see, or not, like acquaintances may ask for your help at times because they see how helpful you can be, and so they might take advantage of that. But and then like they never really say thank you. So at this point, I feel like you've focused too much on that, like the physical result of like helping other people, like kind of what am I gonna get in return, but kind of need to like back away from that a little bit, because as I was talking about here with the magician, like, not everybody is going to thank you for you trying to help them, and a lot of people won't really even notice. But that's okay. Like, that doesn't make you any less helpful. That doesn't mean that you haven't helped them in the long run. It just means that it's going to take them more time to realize what's happened. So, yeah. But moving on to this high priestess and what you seem to be embracing is, I feel like you're kind of embracing more of like the spirituality of all this. Like, I feel like you're finding now more than ever before in your life that helping people is really your purpose. Like, you find that you really enjoy it, and it's like, it's kind of giving you purpose in life. But I do want to reiterate, you can help people by just being you. You know, I think it's a really slippery slope into feeling like you need to be a people pleaser, or becoming a people pleaser because you feel like you need to help as many people as you can, or like you don't want to be rude, so you're like, I'll just help this person, you know, like I'll just do it for them, you know, whatever. So you still need to remember that, like, what feels right to you is most important. Like, you need to still remember how to help yourself, and you still need to remember really who you are. You know, you are a presence, you are a light. You are here to help people purely by showing them that they don't have to be so cynical, that there are still good things in this world. And I think that's a big part of your spiritual journey, is recognizing that you alone can do so much for a person, like mentally, emotionally. You don't have to do like physical things. I think like that's another thing I was talking about over here, and what I was talking about with that specific person is, I think you get really caught up in like the physical result of helping somebody. And the honest truth is that most help comes from letting people feel like they're loved, honestly. Is just showing them love and compassion. And you do that on your own. You have such a youthful, sorry for the motorcycle, you have such a youthful and pure heart, and you have so much love for the people around you and for the world, that you don't even need to like do anything really to show how kind and compassionate you are. People know just by standing next to you that you're a good person. And so I feel like with this high priestess here, you are kind of like, you're learning how to embrace serving other people as a part of your whole, as a part of who you are. That took so long to say, I'm sorry. Which is great. I think, like, well, I guess going into this Page of Pentacles, I think by really embracing that idea that, oh god, no, I just lost it. Anyway, you just heard it, that idea. By really embracing that, the universe will reward you. The universe will send you physical results. And I know how ironic that sounds, but that is the gosh darn truth. Every time you're like, I don't know what to do. It's like they always say, like, you're gonna find a girlfriend, a boyfriend as soon as you stop looking. It's the truth. As soon as you stop looking for results, there they are. I feel like, I don't even get the impression that, like, you want money or anything for, like, people helping you, but I do think, like, recognition or notoriety is kind of something that you've been looking for. Like, even somebody just, like, I don't know if it's very specific, but, like, even just somebody posting about, like, hey, shout out to so-and-so, they're, like, really cool, they helped me out a lot, and, like, thanks, bro. Like, I don't know. I feel like just things like that, you'll start seeing people recognize how much you help by just embracing who you are and embracing that you are more capable of helping people without really even doing anything than you realize. So, now I am going to get into some advice cards. Again, so sorry if I've been, like, all over the place and, like, really tired. We're almost done. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video this time so that it doesn't cut out in the middle of what I'm saying, and then I'll be back with those advice cards. Hi, I'm back. Yeah, I don't want my camera to cut out anymore. I'm trying to, like, save you, like, random, like, I'm just talking in the middle of my sentence and then it cuts out. Anyway, so let's talk about your advice. So first we have Nemesis with Retribution. Taike, please forgive me with my horrible, like, Greek pronunciation. I don't know Greek. I don't know any of these people, really. That one with Fortune. And Metis. Wisdom. Oh my god. I am so sorry. I'm just a mess this reading. So let's start with Nemesis. With Retribution. I feel like this card is the universe's reminder that there will be retribution. I mean, I didn't I'm so sorry. I don't really get the feeling that, like, anything horrible happened, like, retribution needs to be paid, but I feel like, kind of in the sense of, like, we're talking about up here is, like, as long as you embrace who you are and how everything fits into what makes up you, there will be results. You need to stop worrying so much about other people giving you recognition for everything that you do, and let that go. Let go of the idea of, like, oh, I need people to, like, recognize that, everything that I do, and results will come, like, especially if, you've ever run into somebody and they just seemed, like, totally ungrateful for everything that you did. And, like, you really, really tried to be nice to them, tried to help them. Like, at some point, even they will kind of come up to you and be like, man, I was, like, a huge jerk. I'm so sorry I treated you that way. And, like, retribution, So try not to worry so much about, like, about like having results. Because like I feel like I'm starting to kind of understand, like I can understand that it's probably there's a part of you who I mean we were talking about it, like really feels like there's nothing you can do and it makes you sad, and like it makes you feel like you're not worthy or you're not capable of doing things. But to tell you the damn truth is that you don't need to worry about like what other people think. You know, just keep being you. You know, you are a pretty special person and you do a lot for people. Like, not only are you this like amazing optimistic person who's just like super cool, but you're also incredibly compassionate and you try to do everything you can to help those around you, which is totally noble. So try not to worry so much about, you know, getting that approval or getting that validation that like you're a good person, because you are. That's that. You're a good person. Like, there's no doubt about it. Anyway, moving on to fortune. Again, I think this is a reminder that, like, by being yourself and, like, kind of validating yourself by just, like, being you and trying the best you can to make everyone happy, or, like, just doing the best you can at all, like, being you, you know? You don't have to do anything in this lifetime. Just be you, exist, survive, learn about yourself, and grow. Like, that's literally all you have to do. But anyway, I think it's kind of like reminding you that by being yourself and trying not to worry about external validation, you will have more fulfillment and happiness than you could have ever imagined. It'll check every single box. Guaranteed. By just learning to accept yourself and learning to accept that you can't do everything, and not everything that you do is going to be compensated for. People are going to be blind at how kind you are. Oh, what was the other thing that I said? I'm sorry. People are going to be blind to how kind you are, and you can't be responsible for the entire world. I guess that's really what I want to say. But yeah, just by like focusing on yourself and trying to be the best that you can without worrying too much about how that's gonna like affect everything, you're gonna learn to be at peace with yourself, and you are going to have emotional fulfillment, spiritual fulfillment, material fulfillment. Don't worry about it. You are set. And then finally, with wisdom here, I think this is a good reminder to really, like, try to experience as much as you can. Like, I think you're a pretty smart person, and I think you may be kind of shy at times, but you definitely aren't afraid to try new things, to learn new things. I think the more that you try to expand your knowledge and try to expand your human experience, the more that you're going to learn, or the easier it's going to be for you to truly help people and to help yourself, honestly. Like, because I kind of also feel like maybe sometimes you don't really even know how to help yourself. And also, again, with this wisdom card, like, wisdom comes from years and years and years of experience, just experience after experience after experience. This comes with age. And I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned earlier how you seem very young. Like, it could be your energy and how well connected you are to your inner child, but I do get a good sense that a lot of you who picked this reading are on the younger side, which means, like, if you're in your 20s, you have at least like 50 or 60 more years in you to learn and to grow and to help people. And if you're like a little bit older, like, again, like, a lot of people die when they're 80, and even if you're 50, that's still 30 more years. Like, you have time, trust me, and you don't know everything, and you'll get there, you know? Like, you will get to a point where you will be able to share your wisdom with the world. I mean, you could already do that, but, like, you still will be doing it way into the future until you're dead, until you're in the ground, you know? But anyway, that's all I have. I'm so sorry if this got confusing, if it got weird. I'm sorry for my camera cutting out. I'm gonna try to fix that this week, so that by next week, I don't have to worry about it cutting out anymore. It's so freaking annoying. Like, trust me, it's annoying for me. But anyway, yeah, that's all I have for you. I hope you really did get something out of it. I hope. Thank you so much for watching, and more content to come. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading on Who Are You? So just to start, I'll tell you that, one, my camera keeps cutting out, so if it just like randomly switches to something else while I'm in the middle of talking about something, I apologize in advance. Two, the way that I'm going to do this reading is I'm going to start with like an energy check with like my spirit animal deck. I forget what it's called. I think it is called a spirit animal deck. But yeah, I'm going to kind of do like an energy check, basically get a gist of who you are. That's going to be like the majority of the reading. And then we'll get into tarot and then finish off with some advice. And that'll be that for the reading. And then lastly, just a disclaimer, because I kind of like realized halfway through doing the first reading that probably a lot of people clicked on this video just expecting like I'm gonna be like, oh, like tell you exactly who you are, like, oh, you're so and so and you're this sign and you like this and that and like shit like that. But I want to just say that personally, I feel like no one can really tell you who you are. That's kind of up to you to decide. It's you have to go through a lot of self-discovery to figure that out. But this reading is mostly meant to like get a better understanding of who you are right now, kind of what energy you're in, and kind of see what's shifting a little bit similar to the first video, but more talking about like your self journey. So yeah, that's about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Put this off to the side for now. All right, so let's go ahead. Spirit, who is pile 3? Who is pile 3? Okay, so right away we have the buffalo. We have the wolf, the moth, and then finally we have, oh my god, sorry, I just ate, so my throat's a little. And then finally we have the B. Oops. Okay. It's pile 3. Who are you? So, right away I noticed, like, I don't know, kind of looking at the wolf and the buffalo, these are very native, or not very native, that came out wrong. Like, I don't know, they're seen a lot in, like, Native American culture, and, you know, like, spirit animals, like, you see buffalo a lot and wolf a lot. Not so much the bee or the moth, but I know these two are pretty big in Native American culture. So maybe you have, like a tie to Native American culture and, like, spiritualism. Or maybe, like, you just live in an area where that's very prevalent. I just wanted to, like, note that first off the bat. But, starting with this buffalo, I get the sense that you are someone who is very strong. I feel like you have not only, like, strong emotions, but more like you have a lot of emotional and mental strength. Like, you are the kind of person who is extremely resilient, somebody who just keeps going, who just keeps getting back up. And I feel like also you're someone who's not afraid to confront things head on. Oh my god, sorry. You're not afraid to confront things head on, and, like, you kind of honestly prefer to do that. I feel like you might also be a little bit, like, thrill-seeking, I feel like, with this lightning in the background. That might be big. But also, I want to, like, really emphasize, like, the mental and emotional strength. Like, I get the feeling that you are somebody who has really been through a lot. And I feel like you just, like, you just don't let it bother you. Well, I mean, you know, at least not outwardly. Like, you don't really have emotional reactions. I feel like as a kid, maybe somebody told you that you had to be strong because everyone else around you was weak, in a sense, or like maybe people told you that, like, or maybe you just saw it, like, you just came to your own conclusion of that, like, the people around you that were taking care of you weren't even able to take care of themselves, so you kind of found it in yourself, or like I said, maybe somebody told you that you had to take care of yourself and you had to take care of everyone, really. But yeah, for the most part, I feel like you have been through a lot, and you're extremely independent, maybe a little bit stubborn at times, and kind of, like, want things to go your way, which makes sense if you're very independent. I also get the sense that, like, because I'm looking at this purple here, like, maybe you had a very, like, spiritual mother. I'm hearing mother, but it could have been, like, anybody, maybe, like, a maternal figure or some sort of female figure in your life who was very important to you, who kind of, like, instilled this, like, spiritual nature towards you. Like, they really emphasized the importance of, like, finding yourself. And it's kind of interesting, doing this reading. All of the readings so far have been about like finding yourself, which makes sense because we're always trying to find ourselves. But I think that was like instilled in you really early on, like somebody of importance really made sure that whatever you did, however you dealt with things, that you didn't let it define you as who you are, and made it very important to you to not be yourself. I mean, like, be yourself, but to find your own way, basically. And so then I want to move on to this wolf, actually. So I feel like that's your past, kind of. That's kind of like the energy that you carry around. Strong, kind of stoic, like somebody who just confronts things head on, somebody who sets their own, is the master of their own fate, pretty much. And where I see, excuse me, sorry, I've been doing that all day. Where I see that you're going is you're learning how to really be one with your surroundings and the people in your life. I feel like maybe in the past with this buffalo, like, you kind of saw yourself as like a loner. I feel like you've always been aware that like people are really important, but I feel like you kind of wanted to be, or like you thought it was important to like do things on your own so that you could create a sense of self, which, yes, I would say that's important, but now at this point in your life, you're starting to realize the importance of the pack. We have a wolf here. It's all about like family and loved ones and taking care of a community. Like, I think the direction that you're heading, you've kind of like mastered self. You know who you are. You don't really need anybody to tell you, which I think is kind of funny that you found this reading, but it's more about like finding yourself in others, I guess, like not comparing yourself to others, but like seeing similarities between people in order to connect with them. And like similarities between people and between you and that person in order to find a deeper understanding of like life and the universe and of yourself too. And of course other people. So I feel like that's kind of the direction that you're heading right now. Let's talk about this moth. I feel like the only thing that you may struggle with is finding the light, I guess. I think, we have this moth here. He's heading towards the light, but he's like pretty much surrounded in darkness. I feel like at times, maybe because, you either were told or you felt that you yourself had to take care of yourself and had to like be strong for everybody else. And so I feel like it's really easy to fall into this pit of like cynicism and thinking like, oh, like it's not sorry, I take that back. Not a pit of cynicism. I mean, well, I see that too, but I think it's more like cynicism is caused, at least your cynicism is caused by like constantly searching for this light, searching for like the end of the tunnel kind of light. And while it's good to like always constantly look for the light and like find the beauty in life, I think you struggle a lot with like being comfortable with the darkness that's within you, with it's in other people and within life. Like you're really comfortable with chaos. Like even just looking at this buffalo, you know, there's a lightning thing right there, and you can just tell he's looking directly into the eye of the storm. And like that buffalo, you're not afraid to look the storm in the eye and just charge for it and go, you know, I'm just going to confront this head on and like make things better for myself, which is great. But at the same time, I think you struggle to like understand why there's darkness in the world, which is honestly why I think right now, or at least in the near future, you've been really focused on finding yourself through other people, finding some sort of understanding, some sort of way to connect all the dots. Because while you're used to the chaos, you don't really understand it. Which makes sense, because like a lot of kids that go through trauma, they know pain and sorrow, but they don't really understand it, and that's why a lot of the times it can cause depression or like anxiety or something, or PTSD, you know, it causes all sorts of mental problems because they don't understand why it happened. In which I feel like that's kind of where you're at right now. You know that it happens and you accept that it happens, but you don't understand why. And so I think like currently you seek light, you seek confrontation that leads to resolution, but you don't stop and think and sit in the darkness. I don't know why that took so long for me to say. Sorry. Which again, I kind of like want to connect that to this wolf and like learning to like understand the people around you and focus more on who is in your life and like their background and how that connects to you, and like finding possible answers through them why there's so much darkness in the world. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking if I had anything else to say. I think that's all that needs to be said about this. Now, as far as this bee is supposed to represent your higher self. And your higher self really just wants to be free, I guess. I kind of find it interesting that like this moth is going up towards the light, and this is representing like your shadow side, things that you struggle with, the struggle with like possibly depression or cynicism, and struggling to sit with the dark thoughts or the dark parts of life. And this bee is sitting directly in the middle, and he's radiating all this energy. And I feel like that kind of symbolizes you know, like when you're being your most authentic self, you are the light. You are the understanding between people, the understanding of chaos. You are well, it's kind of funny, is the dark and the light, because a bee is black and, well, is yellow, but, you know, it's dark and light. It's duality. It's balance. So I feel like when you're being your most authentic self, when you're sitting with these dark parts, and you're not focusing too hard on why things happened, but you're focusing more on how that has shaped you as a person, and how what happens to you doesn't define who you are. It's just a chapter in the story, I guess you could call it. You are a light for other people. You are the reason to the madness. You're confronting the storm. You are the one who is actively setting their own path or walking their own path, or however that phrase goes. Like, you get the freedom of being in control of your own fate, which is really, really heavy. But I do want to mention, like, I think you're going through a really big transformation right now. I think right now is a very important time in your life because you are going through all the stages that you need to go through in order to get to this control, this mastery of fate, I guess. That's how I'm gonna say it. You know, you've already discovered who you are, and you already have set out on this path to enlightenment, really. You've already decided that you are gonna be who you are because you aren't afraid of the chaos. You aren't afraid of... Oh god, what's the word? I just had it. You aren't afraid of, like, taking charge and fighting for what you believe in. And now you're going into the stage where you're incorporating everything that you've learned from your life and the people around you into, like, a broader... Or, excuse me, you're learning to integrate everything that you've learned from your life with everything that other people have learned from their lives. And you're learning to understand life through the lens of other people and yourself. And you're finding that there are multiple perspectives to everything. And the reason why that is because there's no solid truth in anything. Like, there's no objective truth in anything. As far as it comes to, like, navigating life and finding happiness. And I feel like that kind of emphasizes this need to, like, almost, like, get away from the darkness. Like, I'm kind of also getting the feeling that you might be the kind of person who is like, all this stuff is going on and I don't really know how to deal with it, and then, like, you search on Google, how do you deal with blah blah blah, and Google's like, oh, you do this, this, and this, and you're like, oh, of course. And so you just, like, bypass all of the, like, other steps, and you just, like, I don't know. I'll give you an example. Like, with me, for a long time when I was going through a hard time, I wanted the quickest solution to my pain. And so I would, like, look up, like, stupid little, they're not stupid, nothing's stupid, you know, whatever works for whoever, but I would look up, like, short answers, basically, on, like, how to cure depression, basically, and it was always, like, you gotta love yourself, and, like, you gotta be kind to yourself, you gotta, like, set boundaries, and it was, like, which is the truth, but I wouldn't do all the steps necessary to set my boundaries or to love myself and take care of myself. I would just tell myself, like, okay, I'm setting my boundaries. Okay, I love myself. And then I'd be like, wow, I feel so much better. And then like 10 seconds later, I'd turn around and be like, I still feel like shit, because guess what? I didn't do anything to really teach myself how to take care of myself. So I feel like maybe you have a little bit of that tendency to, like, it kind of like what I was saying with like looking at into the eye of the storm and just charging for it, because I feel like you might be, it's like in a way you are so scared of the storm, of the darkness, that you just run directly through it and like go right through it and just completely ignore it to get to the other side. And of course, what happens after that is like, well, I got to the other side, but now I don't know how to handle the other side, because I was so scared to pass through the storm that I didn't prepare myself in how I would feel after the fact. So, oh my god, I completely lost my train of thought, sorry. So I think that's something that you might need to work on, like I said, kind of going into the whole thing with like struggling to deal with the darkness around you. You have to sit with it, really. And once you sit with that pain, once you sit with the darkness, you're able to sit comfortably in the light and deal with the other side and learn to accept the other side and be grateful that whatever you went through shaped you into the person that you are today, or your highest self, so that you have the freedom to choose your own fate, basically. Yeah. Because I think freedom is a really big thing for you. I think maybe you get a little anxious that like all the things that have happened to you before just happen to you because you can never be happy, because you are a bad person. But that's not the truth. That's not really what happened. What happened is that life is really scary and honestly kind of dangerous. And it's a big responsibility to be full of life, to be alive. And nobody really tells you how to manage it or how to cope with it. And so, you know, it leaves all these uncertain and nasty feelings. But the good news is that you are taking steps to get to this point, and you are getting there. You've gone from this person who just runs straight into the storm and bypasses it and doesn't even know how to deal with the other side, to somebody well, I guess I'll say over here, to bypass the storm to get to the other side, doesn't know how to handle it, to understanding yourself and understanding that you are your own person, to seeking connection through other people to gain a deeper understanding of the ugly feelings that you haven't really dealt with before. But once you get to this point of dealing with the ugly feelings, you are going to be in complete control of your life. You will be completely free of any guilt or shame that you have well, I won't say completely free, that's a big statement right there, but it'll be a lot easier to understand why you feel that guilt or that shame, and it'll be a lot easier dealing with it. It'll be a lot easier going like, okay, I know what this feeling is, I've dealt with this feeling before, and I can deal with it again. And that's the most important thing, is knowing that you are capable of dealing with it again because you've dealt with it before. But that is all I have to say about these guys. That was actually pretty short compared to the other two so far. So I'm going to move this over here. And then I'm gonna shuffle the tarot real quick just to get your cards, and then I will read them as I see. For the tarot, I'm gonna kind of look at like what I said, what's shifting, and I'm asking the question, who are you becoming? So I'll be right back. Hi, I'm back. Okay, I also decided to just pull these guys too, so that I don't have to shuffle those either, and hopefully it won't cut out in the middle of me talking about them because I had to stop and shuffle. So let's just get into it. So first we have the Justice in reverse, we have the Three of Ghosts, which is cups, the Ace of Bats, which is swords, and the Two of Bats. And then I'll get into these later. But so starting with with Justice in reverse, I don't know why I keep saying the Justice. So I think I'm thinking of the Justice card, but anyway, I'll shut up and actually get to the reading. So with Justice in reverse, I feel like you're starting to let go of any resentment you may have towards like yourself or others because of like chaos that they may have caused, or just like how things turned out, like somebody being inconsiderate, and you're just like, you get frustrated and you're like, why were people like this? I don't understand. So I feel like you're kind of letting go of that. I think because you're in this energy of like seeking connection and understanding through other people, you're starting to kind of let go of all the like stupid grudges that you had. Like, I don't know, I don't get the feeling that you like really hold grudges, but like irritation, like just getting really irritated at stupid little things, because it's like, because I get it, you're like, why won't this ever fucking end? Like, just be normal, be stable. Like, I get it. But yeah, so I feel like you're giving up that resentment for little things like that, and I also feel like you're getting rid of your own self-sabotaging ways. Like, I feel like, you know, like I was talking about with this moth card over here, just running straight to the light, or running straight through the storm to get to the other side, and then once you get there, you like, it's like stable, it's peaceful, but like all you've ever known is the storm. All you've ever known is darkness, and so you just like, you know, everybody does it. You get scared of like that you can't handle it, that you can't be responsible for anything going wrong, because it's like you've tried so hard for success that any failure is just too much of a blow. So but I think you're letting go of that. I think you're letting go of needing to always be perfect and needing to constantly have all your shit together, and like just ignoring things that don't make you feel good so that you don't have to feel them. And it's really going to benefit you, because by sitting in that dark energy, like I said, you're going to win this freedom. You're going to learn how to live a successful and happy life. So moving over to this Three of Ghosts, I feel like, you know, it's like this wolf card. Like, you're focusing on, or I should say in this case, like, because this wolf card actually is supposed to represent your future self, so maybe you haven't started, like, focusing really on other people and the connection to other people. But with this Three of Ghosts cards here, it shows that it is really important for you, in order to understand the dark parts of life and to get to this higher self that is in control of their own fate and knows how to cope with things and live a happy life. You need to focus on how to connect with other people so that you don't feel alone, so that you don't get wrapped up in this darkness and you're like, I don't know what to do. And, you know, like, and I think going along with that, like, a lot of the times where you're on the other side and you feel like, I don't know how to handle this, and, like, I'm gonna fuck it up somehow, there's usually this sense of, like, and same with hyper-independence, there's also this sense of, like, I can't ask anyone for help. I don't have anybody to help me. Like, no one's really there for me. But the thing is that you do, you know, you showed up as this wolf in your future self. So you obviously have a pack. You have people that care about you. And you need to focus on connecting with them so that you're able to better understand things from other people's perspectives, which is going to help you understand your own perspective and understand, like, how you deal with things. Moving on to this Ace of Bats, or Ace of Swords. This is Swords. I think you're learning how to be more communicative about the things in your life that have happened that you've never really wanted to talk about. I think you're starting to, and like I said, if you've already kind of started, like, trying to connect with people and try to gain a better understanding of the world through other people, I think you're doing a really good job of, like, actually opening up and actually having a conversation with these people and talking about your feelings. And actually sharing ideas and, what else was I gonna say? Oh, I guess I was gonna say with, like, sharing ideas, you know, that's the only way that you're going to understand things, understand things, is if you switch information, if you share ideas and you talk about them. Talk about, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that idea? You know, and, like, have a deep discussion about it and be like, well, this is what I experienced, so this is how I feel about blah, 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 you know? I also wanted to note that there is 3 air signs, or air energy in the tarot, and there's also 2 here. So I feel like communication has probably been a big thing for you. Like, I think kind of going back to, like, this buffalo over here where I was talking about, you know, feeling like you had to be strong, like you had to hold it together for everybody. You probably, like, taught yourself that you couldn't talk about your emotions, or you couldn't talk about your needs or the things that you were going through. And at the point that you're at right now, you're learning that that is so not true. You have to talk about everything, because otherwise you're not going to learn, you're not going to grow, you're not going to have the freedom that you want. Air energy might also be really important in your case. Like, you could have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius placements, especially Libra, because we have Justice here. But Yeah. Oh, and then also I just wanted to quickly note, because like I think it's interesting that your shadow side and your higher self, they're both being represented by air signs. So it just kind of like further signifies that like you need to talk, you need to communicate with other people in order to like work all this through, and in order to what's the word? So like manage, you know, in order to cope. That's kind of the whole point, you know. But yeah, moving on to this Two of Bats. I think the universe is saying with this card that you're gonna have to make a decision at some point about like it's gonna be up to you when you want to start dealing with all this stuff. Like, it's gonna be up to you to decide to start kind of working through all of the gross, icky stuff, feelings that I call it. You know, because that's another thing. Like, you can't, if you're not ready to face something, you're not gonna face it. You are going to hide and run away as much as you can until you can't face it, until you can't run away anymore. That's what I meant. So I think with the Two of Swords, the universe is saying, like, you know, it is completely up to you when you want to start this journey. It is a lifelong journey, and so it's going to be there for whenever you're ready, but timing is going to be up to you. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into some advice. Look at that. No pauses. Gonna get in and out of here with only one cut. So first we have Antigone with Loyalty. We have Pandora with Gift of Hope, and we have Eos, Dawn. Thank God I can pronounce all those. If you've seen any of my other readings with these cards, you will know that I suck at pronouncing them. I just happen to know all of these ones. So anyway, let's start with Antigone and Loyalty. I think this is the universe's reminder that you have the loyalty of everyone around you. You have the wolf here, you have the Three of Ghosts, and you have loyalty. Like, it's reminding you that you can go to people if you need help. Like, you can trust that the people around you are loyal, good friends, and they're gonna try to take care of you when you need help. I think it's also saying that you need to have loyalty to yourself, like, yourself and others. Like, you need to realize that you are not your own worst enemy, and you have to have your own back. Like, you have to, you know, if you want things to get better, you're gonna have to, like, make the change yourself. You have to be loyal to yourself. You smart, you loyal to yourself, and stop sabotaging yourself. Which, you know, I feel like that may be for a select few of you, but either way, like, there is loyalty here. You have good people around you, and you are a good person. You have to stop telling yourself that you're a bad person and you don't deserve good things, because you are. We also have Pandora here with Gift of Hope. You, like I said, you can be a little pessimistic at times or cynical at times. The universe is reminding you to have hope and remember that things are temporary. Nothing lasts forever, and if you want something to change, you can change it. You totally have the option to do that. You are not stuck in chaos, in darkness your whole life. Like, there are so many other beautiful things out there, especially people, the people around you who care and love about you, or love you, love about you. You need to try to have more faith in people, in things, in life, because life isn't here to really fuck you up. It's here to teach you lessons about yourself. It is one big lesson about who you are, which is, you know, funny that you picked this reading because, you know, asking who you are. And I think kind of to answer your question, you're a person, you're a human being. At the end of the day, that's what all of us are. And we're all going through our own self journey and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work and what fulfills us. And I think the universe is saying that if you have more hope, you will be fulfilled. You will have the freedom that you desire from chaos, from instability, from sadness, as long as you stay hopeful. And then we have Eos. Perfect way to end it off. I think this card really speaks to your future. Like, excuse me, I think, you know, it's kind of like as soon as I saw this card, the first thing that came to mind was a new day dawns, which is absolutely the truth. Every day is a new day, and you know, you're going through the day and you're like, wow, this is really shitty, and nothing went the way that I had hoped it would go. But there's always tomorrow to make up for that. You know, it's not all darkness and despair all the time. You know, you gotta have hope that things will be better tomorrow. And I think in one of the videos, or maybe one of these readings, I said, you know, tomorrow doesn't exist, but, which I feel like is still true, but I feel like in your case, like, it's the opposite with you. Tomorrow is going to be a better day, and you need to realize that, like, you know, every moment has its deal, has its, like, emotions behind it, but you don't have to, like, attach that feeling of that moment to everything, because it doesn't always apply. You know, there's all sorts of different perspectives, as you've probably learned from talking to other people and hearing their stories. There's other things that are cool, that are happy, like friendship and loyalty and beauty and love and, you know, all that good stuff. So yeah, just remember that, you know, it's not always darkness and despair. There's hope, and there's new opportunities all the time. That's another thing that I think of when I see this card. There's new opportunities all the time. And I think the most important thing to remember about this card, like kind of relating it to the Two of Swords over here, opportunities show up all the time, but you have to choose when you're ready to actually go for it and make the change and start leading your own life, honestly. But I think that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for sitting through this, and hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about yourself today. I don't know how you thought of the reading, but whatever. Thank you so much for watching again, and new content to come, and I will see you guys later. Bye! Hi there, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading on Who Are You? If you pick the Mermaid tarot deck, then this would be your pile. If not, check the others. Excuse me, sorry. So yeah, basically the way that this reading is gonna go, I'm gonna go ahead and do like kind of like an energy check thing with my spirit animal tarot deck, and then we're gonna pull some tarot cards, and then I'm gonna end it with advice. Disclaimer, there will probably be like a brief pause, hopefully, cross your fingers, in like the middle after I'm done reading the animal spirit cards, because my camera keeps cutting out and I haven't fixed the settings yet so that it doesn't do that anymore. Because it has like a time limit or whatever, and I'm wasting time talking about it. But yeah, I'm just gonna like cut in the middle after that part and shuffle a tarot and pull a device so that I don't have to waste any time on screen shuffling except for the first one. And so yeah, that's how it's gonna go. So let's go ahead and get started. I also want to say that I realized like halfway through the first video that people were probably like, when they read the title, are gonna expect like me to tell you exactly who you are, like, oh, you're so and so and you like cats and like shit like that. Personally, I don't think that anybody can tell you who you are. That's something that you have to figure out for yourself. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're this kind of a person, and like Myers-Briggs you or some shit like that. I'm just gonna try to shuffle the cards to see if I can help you find a better understanding of yourself and something you might be going through right now. So let's go ahead and get started. So, Spirit, who is pile 4? Who's pile 4? Okay, so we have 2 cards. We have the deer and the phoenix. Who is pile 4? Have the owl. And we have the oyster. Okay. I don't think I've ever gotten that card before, like doing a reading, so it's kind of cool. Hi, nice to see you, Mr. Oyster. So let's get started. Pile 4. Who are you? This more off to the side. Not on my way. So right off the bat, I think you are a very interesting person. I feel like just looking at like the ensemble we have here, we have earth, air, water, and then a spirit card, almost all 4 elements, which I think is interesting, you know. That kind of gives me an idea that you're a pretty well-balanced person and honestly pretty intuitive. You have this spiritual card here. That's like the spirit element. That little ring right there. But so yeah, I'm getting the sense that you're a very balanced person, a very kind person, I feel like, very nurturing and caring, very in tune with your emotions, and someone who's very intelligent. And don't want to give too much away about this Phoenix card, because honestly, I'm getting the vibe that like this would not be your typical reading. I feel like usually you have a pretty good sense of self, or at the very least have a good sense of how you feel about things and what you want in life. But I'm also kind of getting the feeling that the reason why I feel like this isn't you wouldn't typically search for or watch this kind of reading, or honestly even get a reading at all, is because I feel like, and yet you're here, I feel like in recent times something's happened that kind of like rocked the boat with you a little bit, no pun intended, but I feel like someone might have said something to you and you kind of were like, that's not me, or like, I don't know, maybe that's for a select few of you, but I do feel like something happened, and because we have like a really, like, I don't know, I feel like these cards are very connected, but this one isn't. Like, it gives me the idea that, like, maybe you saw something or thought one way about certain things, and then someone kind of, like, said something to you, and that kind of changed things for you a little bit. Kind of made you open your eyes a bit more to the world around you and like how you are involved in the universe, what your place is in the universe. And that's probably why you're here. Anyway, let's start with this deer. What I'm getting is like a very nurturing energy, a very like kind energy. I feel like you're the kind of person who like in high school would always like wave at everybody they knew from like class or something and just be like, hey, so and so, what's up? And everybody was like always super nice, and like, or not like, everybody was super nice to you and was like, oh my god, hey, what's up? And like just like really a genuine energy. Like I feel like you are very much yourself around other people. Like I don't get the feeling at all that you feel like you need to fake anything with anyone. But however, I do see like a bit of innocence and a bit of like naivete that is probably why like whatever happened where things kind of shook up your world and you were like, I never thought of it like that before. It's probably why. It's probably because you had a very like, I wouldn't say like fixed or naive view of life. I think you just like had it in your head that things worked a certain way, and somebody just showed you that there's different things in the world. There's different like perspectives, I guess. I don't know, that sounds bad. I don't mean it like you're not an open-minded person, because I don't get that. I think you're very accepting of other people and where they come from, and like, sorry, and just really friendly in general. I think you make friends very easily and people generally like you. But like I said, I do kind of see this little bit of innocence where like maybe something's just like there was no need to explore further. You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you're just like, oh, this is the world, because like you've only been like 10 feet outside your house, 10 blocks away from your house, you know, like there's not much, you know, you haven't been out far. I mean, like some people have, maybe you have, who knows, but like my point is like when you're a kid, all you've known of life is everything that you've experienced, and that's it. Like that's life, you know, and that's where you get your idea and your perceptions about life. And so I feel like, you know, with that energy, I have a really strong feeling that like this pile is on the younger side. There was another one that was kind of on the younger side. I can't remember which one right now, but it was pile 2. If you were drawn to pile 2, maybe check that one out too. I don't know. Like, other than this pile, if you were drawn to pile 2. But anyway, yeah, I feel like this pile is a bit more on the younger side. Like maybe just starting out in college. That's kind of what I'm getting. So that would make sense, you know, that there would be this like point in your life where other people kind of like opened your eyes to other things. Like, you're like, whoa, there's like more than my hometown? What? Trust me, we've all been there. Regardless of what we say, we've all been there, you know. But yeah, and I feel like because you have such an open and inviting energy to you, I don't think this is an alarming change or an alarming like revelation or anything like that, but I do see that like you've taken notice of it. It's like it's big enough that like subconsciously you've been thinking about it a lot. I feel like, you know, whatever this person said, whatever happened where you're like, whoa, I can't believe it. That how I see things is not how other people see things. I feel like it's like, I don't want to say unsettling because that's not the word. I don't think you're unsettled by this, but it's more of kind of like this subtle notice that you're changing as a person. Which, so now we'll get into the Phoenix card. I think that's very true. I think you're really growing as a person at this time. Like, I think you're kind of awakening to things that you haven't really thought of before. That sounded weird, but like, I feel like, oh my god, what chakra is it? It's like, I guess it'd be like more than one. I feel like it would be your like Krans chakra or like your heart chakra. My apologies. I'm not 100% like acquainted with the chakras, so and that's wrong. You know, that's not the word I'm looking for, or the chakra I'm looking for, but I'll give you 3 chakras that are coming to mind. The crown, the heart, and the root chakra. Like, I feel like maybe, I want to say root chakra, actually. Sorry, that came through loud and clear. I said that, and I was like, yes, that's it. Well, especially looking at this Phoenix card, it's, reminds me of Scorpio, and Scorpio is all about, I feel like it's associated with the root chakra a bit. It's all about, like subconscious, unconscious feelings, urges, and desires. So, like, I feel like you're kind of being awakened to that side, like, you know, with this kind of like young energy. I feel like there's a lot of life that you haven't yet experienced, and now that you're shifting into like more of an adult kind of world, you're starting to like realize that you have certain like primal instincts that you didn't know that you had. Oh god, that sounded so sexual. I'm not talking about sex. I don't know. You could have already had sex. You could have had plenty of sex by this time. And it's just, I don't mean just sex. It's more of like feelings and instincts that you didn't know that you had. But I feel like feelings is more the right word. Like, you know, like this feeling of like this unconscious feeling that like you're aware of your growth. That's like a root chakra kind of feeling. It's like this innate feeling that like you know deep down, but you don't necessarily address it. I hope that made sense. Maybe that was the wrong like route to go down to explain that, but that's what I'm sticking with. But anyway, so like with this Phoenix card, I feel like because you're shifting into, oh, and even like here, this red, the root chakra is red. Look at that. That's why I was like root chakra. We also have some yellow for the sacral chakra. Chakra. I'm sorry, it's been a long day of readings. I feel like with this Phoenix card, you're moving into this, like, I don't want to say spiritual awakening, even though this is a spirit element card, and it is the Phoenix and whatever, but, I don't want to say that, because I have kind of a thing with that, like, I don't know. Anyway, I'll explain it to you later someday, but I don't want to say that you're like having a spiritual awakening exactly, but I think you are awakening in a sense to more like, oh god, not human, more primal, more like instinctual, more like deep unconscious shit. That's what I'm trying to say. And I feel like, you know, Phoenix, it has to die before it can be reborn. So there may be like an ego death or something, or there could be like the death of something, like maybe the death of hopefully not anyone, but I feel like it's more along the lines of like a death of like childhood, or like a belief, or like an interest or goal that you had, or the ego, you know, something like that. It's like something that you know what I'm trying to say. Basically, like, you're going from a child to an adult right now. That's like the best way I can describe it. Even if you're not in your like 20s or something and you're getting this reading, maybe there's like some sort of aspect to you that still holds on to this childhood belief, or this interest, or something, like something that you've been holding on for a very long time because that's all you knew. And now, because you're awakening to these more like primitive kind of feelings, you're realizing that some of the things that you held on to for so long or throughout childhood don't really serve you anymore, and it's time to put your big boy pants on. That's all I can think of. I don't know why that's like so strongly coming through right now. It's just like the big metaphor of like growing up from like being a child into becoming an adult. Like I think that's just kind of what you're going through. Like I said, even if you're not like a literal young person, but you still pick this pile and you feel like it still resonates with you, it's like, it's maturing in some sort of way. It's growing up in some sort of way, and you're letting go of that kind of like naivete, or that kind of immature aspect of yourself, and you're moving to the next level. Which is why I feel like this is the Phoenix card is coming through, because it's a rebirth. You're being reborn as an adult, which kind of doesn't make sense. But anyway, I'm going to move on to this owl card. This owl card shows me that what you're struggling with right now, as far as like shadow stuff, like what's in your shadow, I feel like something that you may have struggled with your whole life and may be struggling with at this moment has a lot to do with not feeling like you're good enough, or feeling like you're not good enough. I get the sense that, like, you might be really sensitive to criticism because you might feel like you have a pretty good sense of, like, what needs to be done, what's in good taste, because of that kind of, like, immature aspect of, like, this is what I know because of how I lived my life. And now, because you're going through this whole thing where you're realizing that not everything you see can be believed, and not everything that you've experienced is how other people live their life, and that doesn't mean that you know everything. And so I feel like, you know, because of that, like, you're struggling a bit to feel right, honestly. Like, you're struggling a bit to feel like you are going down the right path. Like, well, I won't say that. It's not really that. I think it's what I said, more of what I said in the beginning when I first mentioned the owl card, is just, like, you have a hard time feeling like you're good enough, like you're smart enough, like you're friendly enough, that people like you. I think you're just kind of, like, looking at your world and you're kind of questioning it. You're looking at it and realizing, like, maybe I was wrong about some things. Maybe this isn't everything, you know? And I feel like you especially struggle with, like, smarts, because I feel like you've been really smart your whole life. And this incident kind of showed you that you weren't really that smart. Or not that you're not smart or that smart, just that you don't know everything. Which makes sense. I feel like a lot of people kind of get caught up in that idea of, like, I mean, especially kids, you know. This is why I really feel like this is, like, a younger audience. Is because kids are very caught up in their own stuff, and they do tend to believe that they know it all, because, you know, once they start getting to that point where, like, oh, I'm gonna be an adult, I'm gonna legally be able to do things on my own, they start thinking that they are so independent and they can do everything by themselves and they know how to do it. And it's like, well, not exactly. But yeah, I think that is something that you are struggling with right now, is because, is that, like, you're wondering if you're smart enough or as smart as you thought. And you're kind of, I wouldn't say, like, you're too hard on yourself, because I feel like you're a pretty balanced person overall. But I do think, like, because it's such a big shift, it is a little bit hard to accept that you don't know everything. Especially when no one's ever really challenged you before. Not that anybody challenged you. I have no idea. See, the thing is that I can't really tell, like, what exactly happened. But, you know, I can't be like, so Tommy said this to you on Thursday, and he said that you were, you know, not that smart. Like, I don't know that. This is a general reading. It's going to be different for everybody for what exactly happened. But whatever happened that caused this shift, it has caused you to kind of doubt yourself and just kind of rock the boat. I don't know, it keeps coming up in my head. Rock the boat. So anyway, let's move on to this oyster. This oyster represents your higher self. I mean, of course, I don't know how anybody doesn't think of this when they hear oyster, but the first thing that comes to mind when I hear oyster is the world is your oyster, which I feel like is completely true in your case. Like, I think, you know, even though you're doubting yourself right now because you're going through such a big shift and you're realizing that not everything is the world according to pile 4. But that doesn't mean that you still can't accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. That doesn't mean that you're not a good person or that you're not smart enough to do things in life, that you can't be like independent or anything like that. The world is still your oyster. When you are your authentic self, you are extremely intelligent, incredibly kind, and very well balanced. Well, yes, but also I wanted to add, and resilient. You are not afraid to back down from a challenge. You are not afraid to fall over and get back up, which I think that's like the most important thing you need to realize right now, is that like even if you took a little tumble, because I don't see this being like a huge incident or anything, it's just something kind of like lingering in the back of your mind. You took a tumble, and it's okay to get back up, and you will get back up. Because that's your MO. Another thing I wanted to say about this oyster, like in terms of like your higher self, you are your most authentic self when you are fully delving into your feelings and how you perceive things, your emotional body. This is the water sign. You thrive when you can self-reflect. You are embracing, oh God, I don't know if that's the right word. Just when you self-reflect, you're creating this opportunity within yourself to learn from your mistakes and to get better. I mean, and I think that's evident with this Phoenix here, like that is your personality. When you are willing to go within and find a little grain of sand and start working on it and turning it into a pearl, this little grain of sand that's like this problem that you're dealing with that you just don't know how to solve, that you just don't know how to feel about it, and you sit there with it and you rub it and you keep messing with it until it turns into a little pearl. It becomes a pearl of wisdom and a pearl of innovation, honestly. That's the word that I heard. It becomes this thing where you can just run with it and set the path for others to, like, God, what is the words? What are the words I'm looking for? Set the path for others to do the same thing and to work on themselves, to self-reflect, and to get better. I think, with this Deer card, you already have such an open heart space. With all this green, you are very, very open-hearted. You're extremely compassionate, kind, friendly, accepting. So by taking that little pearl and like using it to be friendly and to use it as a form of compassion, you are serving your highest good. And another thing I find interesting, and I gotta do this quickly because my camera's gonna cut out, is on the owl over here we have all this rain and we got these little dots and of color, pops of color, and then the oyster, it's all stopped and all you can see are these little dots of color. I feel like when you resolve this issue of feeling like you're not good enough, like you sit with these are the grains of sand, and this oyster has taken all these little grains of sand and turned pile for. I tried so hard to finish that before the camera cut out. Just to finish what I was gonna say, because I really didn't have much more to say about this, is you know, here, like I was saying, you see these dots and they're all kind of like jumbled and blah, like raining, whatever. And then here everything stopped and they look like little circles. They look like little pearls. You know, over here with the owl sitting there, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you're not smart enough, that you can't fix the problem. It's all these little grains of sand, you know? But when you sit with that energy and you keep rubbing it and trying to work out your emotions around it, you get these little tiny pearls of wisdom, and you get beauty. You are beauty, you are grace. You get these pearls of wisdom that you can then share with other people with your kindness and your compassion, and you can get back up again and work through it. That's all I have to say about this part. Now I'm gonna purposely turn off my camera and shuffle a tarot, and I will be right back. I'm so sorry that it cut out. I feel so bad. I really need to fix that on my camera. But yeah, anyway, I'll be right back. I'm gonna shuffle the cards. See you in a minute. I feel so bad. It like cuts so... It was literally right there finishing this. But anyway, so we're back with the tarot and the advice. I'm just gonna do the tarot for now, and then I'll get to this. So for the tarot, we have the Four of Swords, Five of Wands, Knight of Swords, and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So to start with this Four of Swords, right now what you're letting go of is like, this is gonna sound really paradoxical, but you're letting go of holding on to these problems. I know I said over here, like, you do your best when you sit with the problem and rub it out until you've created these amazing little pretty pearls, but I feel like this is more in the sense of like obsessing over the problem. You know, like with the oyster over here, it's more about like sitting with your feelings, acknowledging what you're feeling, and moving forward. You know, or like moving forward once you've accepted how you feel about the situation, what you can do to change it, if you can, and moving forward, letting go if you need to let go of it, if it's not that big of a deal, if it's not something worth a million hours of, overthinking, sorry, and worrying about something that's like, honestly, in the long run, not even that big of a deal, which, you know, there's so many of those instances. That is one thing that doesn't go away after childhood. But as far as with this Four of Swords, I feel like what it really is that you're one, not letting the emotions consume you, and two, you're not obsessing and like constantly talking about it and being like, oh, this is ruining my life, and like, you know, you're living sleeping dog's lie. That's, I feel like my words didn't come out right, but you're letting sleeping dogs lie. You're letting go of the fixation, the feeling that you need to like solve every problem right away, or in the reverse, that you have to like thoroughly solve the problem, I guess. And also I feel like letting go of the negative emotions you have towards the situation. I feel like, yeah, just letting go of all of the like negativity about the whole thing, like the obsession, the depression, the the energy that it drains from you, you're letting go of all that. You are saying, you know what? I've solved this problem. I can move forward. Or I've sat with this long enough and now this is more what it is. I've sat with this problem long enough and now I can leave it behind. I know what I can control and I know what I can't control, and I'm moving forward. I am choosing to let go of that negative energy that comes with feeling like I'm not good enough, dealing with this problem of constantly feeling, or not constantly feeling, but like in the moment of like constantly feeling like you don't have what it takes to achieve, because you clearly do. This Phoenix card came out as like your future. Like you definitely will, you know? So it's good that you're letting go of all that negative energy. The Five of Wands here, I feel like what you're focusing too hard on is like petty arguments, petty things that really don't serve you. I feel like, you know, and maybe it's a part of this like this innocent energy of like, well, this is how I see the world and somebody told me that it was different. And like kind of like arguing with yourself about how you feel about that and like what that makes you feel about the other person, or you know, whatever went down. I feel like you're kind of arguing with yourself about the whole thing. Like I'm kind of getting the sense that you you like almost don't want to admit that it's a bigger shift than it really is. Because, I mean, like I was saying in the beginning, like it's not something that's so big that it like upheaves your whole life, but it is definitely a noticeable subconscious like lingering thought of like, wow, this happened and it's really shifted the way that I see things about the world. And so I think this kind of shows that you've been focusing on too much on arguing with yourself about how you feel about it, you know, just kind of ironic because what I literally just said, that you were letting go of all that feelings. But and maybe if you are like letting go of all that negative energy, hopefully and probably, honestly, you're letting go of all this energy, this petty arguing with yourself and like trying to deny something that you know that you feel. But in the past you have kind of focused on that a little too much, maybe. But anyway, going to this Knight of Swords. Something that you're doing a really good job of like embracing is being aggressive about like the way that you communicate with yourself. And kind of like attacking the situation and being like, okay, I'm just gonna sit with this and deal with this. You know what, honestly, I'm gonna kind of change what I was saying, because I'm seeing more of like a seeing a bit of a different story than like what I originally intended these cards to mean. So I'll start with this. So in the past, you kind of like let yourself succumb to these feelings of like inadequacy and self-consciousness like we were talking about with this owl, and you let it get to the point where you didn't really know what to do other than just try to ignore it. You know, and this could be in relation to this situation where you were seeing that things were shifting, or that things were shifting, but you didn't really know what to do with it, and so you kind of just like ignored it for as much as possible and kind of just like see how it played out. Now you're here slowly bringing forth this feeling of not dealing with these feelings that you're not good enough, and you're starting to argue with yourself about how you feel about that. Like, you are starting to kind of like defend yourself in a way, but like it's more of like, it's like when this situation happened where you realized that things weren't exactly the way that you thought they were before. You wanted to, I guess, like hold on to that, like that idea that like the way that you saw things were the right way to see things. Don't come for me. I swear I'm not trying to sound mean. But because deep down you saw that no, not everything is the way that you see things. You don't know everything. That kind of like nagging fear that you're not smart enough, or you're not good enough, or that you've been immature in the past in some sort of way, kind of came to light, and so you felt like you needed to defend yourself in this situation, and kind of like went back and forth with like, well, no, I think I have a pretty good idea of like how things are, and going, well, no, I'm not always right about everything. And that's where you kind of had to like, sit with your thoughts and like aggressively attack your own thoughts and be like, okay, I am going to take this little piece of sand over here, like I was talking about, and just keep rubbing it, just keep sitting with these thoughts and these feelings, you know, rather than like this Four of Swords where you're just like letting it lie, just ignoring it, just not dealing with it. Now you're actively dealing with it and putting into motion a path to move forward and to accept your flaws and your strengths, and to really realize how resilient you are. Like, no, maybe you're not the smartest person in the room. Maybe you don't know everything, but that's okay, because you can learn, because you have an open heart. You are so open to everything, to other perspectives. You don't even realize it. It's these fears of inadequacy that have stopped you, like have slowly kind of turned your heart off over the years. And so you haven't really been, oh my god, what's the word? I literally just said it. You haven't really been open the past few years or something like that, or however long this has been going on. But what you don't realize is that you are more than capable of standing up and getting back up. And, you know, this is just one thing that's happened in your life, and honestly, in the future, it probably won't mean anything ever again. Like, you know, you've dealt with it. Now you can move on, and you're gonna look back and laugh and be like, that was so silly. I don't know why that was such a big deal. You know, because that's just how people are. But anyway, so by attacking this, you know, head on, it leads to prosperity, you know? I mean, the Five of Pentacles is kind of a gnarly card upright, but I really feel like in this situation, because it's in reverse, it shows that you are on the way to feeling not only emotionally fulfilled, but intellectually, and just like feeling more confident about yourself and really opening yourself up again, because that's who you are. You are a very kind and open person and an accepting person, and that's where you're headed. So as far as these little advice cards, I kind of want to start with this one because I find it very funny that Persephone, if you know the story of Persephone, is up here, and I've been talking this whole time about like how I feel this pile is potentially so young. I say that as if I'm not young, but anyway, so over here we have Nemesis, Retribution, Hesperides, I'm sorry, I'm like kind of bad with these names, Guardians, and then Persephone, Descent. So I'm going to start with Persephone, talk about Descent. So the story of Persephone, if you don't know, is about the goddess of spring, I believe. Yeah, she's the goddess of spring. And one day Hades just decided that he wanted her to be his wife, and talked to her mother and was like, well, at first he just stole her. He just took her and was like, okay, come with me. And her mother, Artemis, was so pissed. She was like, what the hell are you doing? She's the one that brings fruit and joy to the lands and happiness and sunshine and all that good shit. And he was like, well, I want her to be my wife, and like she wants to stay down here, so I don't know what you're gonna do. And so Artemis and Hades made this deal that she would come back every spring to bring abundance and new dew to the lands, you know, every year. And so she's the goddess of spring. But the more interesting part of that story is that he gives her this pomegranate right here to eat, and that was supposed to like seduce her, or like kind of like turn on her primal instincts, in that kind of way, you know, in the way that I said I wasn't talking about earlier. So it's basically just a big euphemism, or like a metaphor for like losing your innocence, basically. And I feel like that's kind of what you've been going through, like what I was talking about this whole time, is you're kind of losing your innocence at this point. You're growing up, you're maturing, you're becoming an adult. All of us do it. Well, most of us. But that's okay. I feel like the universe is really saying, like, you know, this is just a part of life. You don't have to be so hard on yourself and say, like, oh, this means I'm not good enough. This means I'm not as smart as I thought I was. It just means that you're growing up and you're learning new things, and you're awakening. It's spring awakening. It's literally about her losing her innocence, you know. It's a part of life. Everybody goes through it, and it doesn't mean anything against who you are. It just means that you're growing as a person, if anything. So try not to be so hard on yourself. And then I guess I'll go this way. With Guardians, I feel like the universe is reminding you that, like, you have guardian angels. I don't think that's what this card necessarily talks about, but that's kind of what was coming to mind. So, yeah, so I felt like I had to say that. You have guardian angels watching over you, and even if you do make a mistake and you trip and you fall, you can still get back up. Don't sweat it, babe. You are so smart. You are so beautiful. You smart, you loyal. Bought her house or something like that. I can't remember that meme right now. It's been a long day. Anyway, as far as what this card actually talks about, it talks about, like, you know, these are the guardians that guard the Garden of Eden. It was a mouthful. I feel like, which is funny because that's another freaking, like, okay, how old are you guys? Seriously, like, if you guys are under 18, you can't be watching this shit, so just so you know, it's a rule of tarot. Yeah, no, it's funny because in the Garden of Eden, you know, they had all their innocence until they ate from the tree of knowledge, you know. I feel like, you know, with this card coming up, it's a reminder to, even though you're growing up and you are awakening, you still need to protect that innocence, because without that innocence, it doesn't make you who you are. Or I guess more than innocence, like I think it comes off as innocence, but really what it is open-heartedness. Is being open to people and to accepting people. You know, this card is a reminder not to let that go, you know, to continue to be open, to try not to fight with yourself so much on everything and close yourself off and feel so bad about insecurities, but to cherish and nurture and guard who you are. What makes you you, you know? That's important. That's important stuff, you know? Nobody can be you and you can't be anybody else. Like, that's just how the world works. And without your openness, you've lost yourself and you get back into this depression where you feel like you're not good enough. So, yeah, you know. You know what I'm saying? And then finally, we have Retribution. This card talks a lot about, like, justice, you know, being served, but I don't think necessarily there's any justice that needs to be served. I think it's talking more about, like, I guess you serving justice to yourself. Like, you need to apologize to yourself. You need to take accountability for what the things that you've said to yourself, being like, oh, I'm an idiot, I'm not smart enough, you can't do this, all that shit, and say sorry and be like, you know what, I said those really mean things about you and I didn't mean it, you know, I was just feeling bad about myself. So I think it's like that kind of retribution. It was a really silly way of saying it, but like that's basically it. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that wasn't too convoluted. I hope that kind of gave you a better sense of understanding yourself, and thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a long day. I'm ready to go to bed. But yeah, more content to come, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!